All right, guys, welcome back. Episode 176. Dude, we are less than 25 episodes away from episode 200, so it's crazy to think about. Let me just bring in my co-host, Caden Spencer. Brother, how are you?
Well, I'm okay. I have finals this week, so I'm stressing about that, but making time for the podcast, so
Hell
all
yeah.
good things here.
Well, I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna press you on some of that mindset of being a student. But we
Yeah.
have a special guest tonight, as you guys can see. But before I get into it, I have to read off some show sponsors. Welts Clothing. Shout out to Welts. Make sure you guys use code FTS at checkout. Get yourself 10% off and some dope merch. New straps, hats, everything you could possibly want. Thank you for Welts for supporting us. We really appreciate it. Next, we have Hormesis Paintball. Thank you to Alex and Oliver over there. Everything that they're doing over there. Caden's got a custom band wearing on his head, and he's got a custom band right there in a box. So, thank you to Hormesis for everything you send to us. We really appreciate it. And last but not least, Capital Edge Paintball Park. If you guys are in the NorCal area, you guys want to shoot some shooty ball, that's the one. January 24th. I know that is going to be a hot date. That's where we are going to be going up and shooting glow ball at night. It is just going to be overall. I'm probably going to be there. Mark is going to be there. Tons of people are going to be there. It'll be awesome. But now that we're done with the show sponsors, I'll try to get those out of the way because I know people will be like just passing the 10-second forward. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get into it. All right, our special guest. All right, let me just say he's a guy that is super underrated, completely underrated. I think his work is fantastic, and I've been following him for a long time, seeing his progression from what he shot to what he's shooting now. So it is absolutely awesome. So with us tonight, we have special guest, Goofy by nature, Brett. What was your last name, Brett? I'm so sorry for the people.
My last name is Kylie.
Brett Kiley. Okay, Goofy by nature,
Yes.
Brett Kiley. So first time on the podcast, brother. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I got all the NXL stuff. Took me a little bit to get it done, but I got all the NXL stuff uploaded, sent out, and now that we're in the off season, now it's time to just kind of go back and edit the content and see some things that I haven't edited, or catch up on stuff that it's been a long year, so I got to catch up for sure on some stuff. But I've been doing good.
Awesome, that dude. It's great to hear. That's awesome that you're busy because it's always good to stay busy. Tell us, bro. How did you get into this crazy sport of paintball?
So, right back to what I can remember is I was pretty much I think I was 10 years old, roughly around somewhere around there. And one of my friends has like had a Titman and some spiders and paintball guns, and he was like really into paintball. And it just was kind of one of those things that I think a lot of people end up doing with paintball, when they're younger, if they start younger, is kind of just grab a gun with their friends or go rent something, But luckily my friends had some equipment, so we weren't, starting off at like the really bare minimum. But we basically just went out to SC Village. I think the first time his parents or his mom, because we were like 10 years old, so obviously not driving, just went out to SC Village, played, and I think once I got shot the first time, you kind of realize it's not as bad as you think it is. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just been hooked ever since. So I pretty much been playing from 10 years old. Started playing at like a Bears Kids Cup at Hollywood Sports. But I've pretty much grown up and played at SC Village as like my main field my whole life. So when I started at 10, I have some old pictures. It's at SC Village, and I'm still there now playing and filming.
Interesting. Okay, that just shows how long SC Village has been there. Like,
Yeah, it's been there forever, and it's sorry to cut you, but
no,
it's
you're
like
good.
I was talking to someone today that's like, I like play some games and certain things, and someone that I met online, like it's kind of weird how you like meet people because like you think the outside world doesn't see paintball, but then I met this kind of old school guy just through like games and gaming, and he like was starting to spout off like some like teams and stuff, and I was like, dang, you know your stuff, and I was like, yeah, dude, I was just like. I played SC Village in like Dynasty, and Aftermath, and like as we're around. So like
Uh
I've
huh.
kind of seen the transition of SC Village from where it was when I was a kid to like the off days, the heydays, and to where it's at now. So
Wow. And because I
Awesome.
I went down there not too long ago for WC, so it man that. So how old are you now? You said you started going when you were 10.
I'm 33, almost 34 in about a couple weeks.
So you started going when you were 10.
About roughly 10 years old. Yeah, 10, 11, somewhere around there.
That field's been open for that
That's what.
long.
Yeah, and it's probably, and to be honest, as far, I mean, I haven't looked up all the history, but as far as I know, it's probably, been around. Obviously, it was there before I even started, playing as a
Yeah,
kid. So
man.
it's been around for like a long time. It's actually one of like the longest standing parks I would say for or say for paintball, in that I could, that I know.
The
Wow.
field's older than me.
Yeah, like it's been there for a long time, so
And I'm pretty sure. So who owns the field right now? Is it Todd?
it should be Geo. It
Geo.
should still be Geo. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
know like Todd has done some stuff with DeFi, and then I know Hinman, if I believe now, owns or like has the top field for like the premier guys and all them for collision and stuff
Okay.
for
That's
practicing and stuff like that. Yeah, and then all the other fields are pretty open. So
that's pretty cool. And I mean, I've been over there. There's a ton of fields, right? So
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Really nice
definitely
field.
is picked up because when I haven't played, a ton for like the past year and a half, I would say or so. But when I was like playing and stuff, it was a lot of just like me and my friend Pup and like the Taco Killers. There wasn't very many teams. They had like one field, and this was maybe like 2 years ago or something around there when I was like really playing on my friends' teams and stuff. So it's like from like where it was about 2 years ago to where it is now, it's been a huge transition, and I think it's brought a lot of more even competitive people and people willing to travel from Vegas and Arizona and things like that, to play at Dubsea because Dubsea is a huge event, and we
oh
do
yeah,
get some of like the local states to travel, for sure.
I
So even
I
some of the
agree.
guys from Hawaii that I film and stuff, come for play Dubsea because it's such a good tournament to play in. So
I agree. I think that the NXL genuinely has to, I wouldn't say watch out, but they are creating a league that I've interviewed some of the people that are behind the scenes over there.
yeah.
I love what they're doing with the live streams. The fact that every field
Hmm.
has a live stream is absolutely incredible because
Yeah.
people want to be able to feel important. And when you're able to watch yourself and kind of
Hmm.
scout other games, it makes your games feel way more important.
Yeah.
So I just feel
Yeah.
like that is such a big difference that if a smaller league is doing that, why is the bigger league not? You know?
Yeah, and especially for it's like for like me, like I'm one photographer or media person, I should say videographer that tries to like get every single point if I can, but
Mm-hmm.
like I do take a good amount of teams and stuff, so sometimes it's hard, but it does suck like when you do kind of miss like that one point, and always feel really bad, but at least it's like we're compared to NXL where it's every field is generally being webcast. So at least if something is missed by the person you paid for or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like at least hopefully it's still on the webcast that captured you, so you still have it, which
Absolutely,
is nice too.
and
Like
that's
you
like the
said,
raw
seeing
game.
yourself and and I know some I ask some people, but like I kind of generally have an idea when people hire me of like what they kind of use the media for, and like that's just an extra level if they want to like watch it back for the next event, like the upper view and like what they're actually seeing me film on the
Mm,
field. So it's a good double level for the skill players premiere that I filmed that actually want to learn more about what they did wrong, and they can kind of see both, because it's a different game when you see the bird's eye view compared to what you
yes,
feel as like a person.
Definitely.
So,
and plus that's just like in its own way two different levels of recording, right? Because
mhm.
an angle of
Yes.
making a player look good is a lot different from an angle of somebody learning how to play a layout.
Yeah,
Way
yeah, because
different.
I mean, I filmed so many clips and so many people, and like by the time like I film one team, like there might be a couple clips that are like really good that you can post kind of on their own, but the rest of them, are like the montages. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like if someone's running down the corner, they could have literally got shot off the break, but like if you just cut it out enough, it makes them look like they had a sick ass run to the corner. So it's just
Oh,
like
oh yeah,
so like seeing the raw footage from the webcast like really shows like the rawness and like actually like what you really did in mistake. It's not edited or anything. So
absolutely. I mean, one thing I learned because when Ryan was on the podcast, that was a huge thing he learned, right? Through the power of
hmm
editing, that was a term we would use a
yeah,
lot. Through the power of editing,
yeah,
you could make anything look cool, right? And that
yeah,
was
yeah,
right, and that was one of the big things that he made with that the DMG documentary. They were getting completely
hmm
shit on, dismantled in pro, but he made it like he put such a story on it to where people were interested,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah, yeah,
nobody like this is gonna sound bad, but I'll make the comparison to like NRG Elite right now that's pro, right? They
hmm
got relegated.
hmm
Nobody really gives a fuck. When DMG got
yeah,
relegated, people kind of gave more of a fuck because there was more of a bird's eye view on them. There was more of a limelight
yeah.
on
Of
them,
course, of course.
right? So I
Yeah,
mean,
and I think like some of like when I was on the pro field, even like I didn't really film like NRG and some of like the other guys. Like so I took a couple pictures in between points in the morning and stuff, and like
mm,
those guys are very like appreciative. Just like the lower like pro teams are very
yes,
appreciative like any kind of media because no one's really focusing on them. So like a picture that I posted did pretty well, and it's like they were just generally thankful because it's like no one's asking for that. I'm sure they don't get like a lot of like when you see all the pro and Excel reels, it's not like the bottom five teams, where
I
it's like
agree.
it's still important. It's still important, to like tell that. So you said if you add like the story behind it. sometimes like the videos, even if a team gets like mad dog on the whole season, but like you put a story and like they're actually trying or whatnot, and hopefully they're trying, not just taking it lightly,
Yeah.
then like it makes for good footage, and that's where it's like you can kind of show some of the more bad footage because it's like no one sees that when like not a lot of people anymore are posting like that type of footage, like the heroes for a day and stuff. Like
Hmm.
when everyone was all pissed off at each other and things weren't going right, they just see the videos of like people winning championships. So
I
Those are honestly my favorite to watch too. Like watching the
yeah,
underdog
yeah.
teams, they're so fun to watch.
Yeah, oh yeah, because it's like if like the teams really care, and even if they're not, like, they're not getting the superstars, so they already know they're not going to beat Dynasty generally, but if they try and learn and just keep like pushing, it's just like that's where you want to see. It's like if there's a team that just kind of in there that say buys a spot and you could tell they don't really care that much, and that's a little bit different.
hmm I mean,
Yeah.
especially like, I mean, look what just happened like with PB Fit, right? PB Fit, like
Hmm.
this past year, they beat Dynasty, and then they just started beating Dynasty all the time.
Yeah,
Where like that,
yeah,
how crazy is that? Because like that whole story right there, right? They were the team that Dynasty would smack on, and
yeah.
now
I
look at them.
think I think it's just like their the year and stuff that they had has been like a pretty crazy like thing that's been going on. They're just
Yeah.
like, definitely like on the hot wave, but it's just something that I've always like told everyone from like playing paintball. Like I remember when I was younger, there wasn't as much as like not like saying there's a ton of money now, but there's not as much like money being thrown around for like these year contracts, 2-year contracts, for all these pro players. So I feel like a lot of the teams, even at SCville, which is like Aftermath and like Dynasty and all these players were like really like homegrown teams. That's where Dynasty started. And then like they just got a bunch of young kids and like trained with them, and like brought them up. But now that like some of the guys are a little older, obviously when you're like 40 something years old playing paintball, you're going to try to get as much out of it that's not the playing aspect. So then it kind of takes away from like I feel like bringing up the young kids because like the focus isn't on is like building the young kids up, just like who can we grab for the season to try to win a championship. I mean, that's kind of how I feel a little bit. Like I feel like if like it's not like there's things that happen, but I feel like with Paintball Fit basically is like they're gelling together. They're pretty much from the same place, from the
Yep.
same state. They might have grabbed Cyrus and what they, but it's like for most of them, like the reason why they're winning is because they're like brothers. They're not like paid to win teams.
Family
Like
integrated
like look
team.
at like
Built on
look at
Revive.
AC Diesel. AC Diesel was like spent more money pretty much in history for that team. Their first tournament they went like 0-4, got smashed or something. So it's just like it just shows that like building a core and like that, especially paintball allows you to build more of a core than I feel like any other sport because it is a sport way more for like that passion and shit because a lot of the money's coming out of your own pocket. It's just like even the pros, they're still paying for certain things. So it's like there's a passion that you really have to have compared to like you watch the NFL where like once a dude gets a contract, he's still gonna play because he loves sports, but like that passion kind of starts like slipping. So with paintball, you get those guys that gel, and then the rest is history.
I agree, and I think that what goes past that is, I mean, I don't think Fit has Chavi under a contract. Hey, you have to play for us. No, dude.
Hmm.
I bet people were throwing money at Chavi because that guy's obviously a Dorito side killer, and he's like,
Yeah,
no, I'm with my
yeah,
guys. No amount of money can replace. Like, sure, you can go join another team, but are you gonna get that same vibe? Are you gonna get that same
yeah.
feeling? Are you gonna get that same like talent pool? Probably
I
not.
think with
Oh,
I think with that
no.
topic too, it's cool because like Hydra itself or Fit, like they have a whole umbrella of like a family
Hmm.
up there in Texas
Yeah,
where even the divisional guys like our only friends, they love playing and hanging around those guys. And you see it where you see like the kids that look up to them. And I don't
Hmm.
think some of the other teams like Diesel have that umbrella.
I
Yeah,
agree. I mean, they have like what? Shut up,
yeah,
we're trying. They got Beefy Boys. They got Dallas Vibe. They have a ton of teams under that Hydra umbrella for sure. So I think that's a valid point.
yeah. Yeah, as far as I know, it's like when I'm at the event, I'm doing so much running around, but like I feel like they like generally care a lot about like what's going on and things, or like we're like you can tell when you go to an event, even like when you're playing divisions, whatever, at some point by the end of the day, like your pit and certain people stop caring and stuff, where it's
Hmm.
like Paintball Fit just seems like their family is like always there at the event, always doing their thing until the last buzzer, on Sunday or whenever they're out. So they got it really like clicking. They're not just, like that kind of just like organization that's organized. They're like the family organization that's just doing it because they all love each other and they've been obviously winning, so they're doing something right.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody in their pit crew is like waking up that morning for their morning games like, oh fuck, we got a pit.
Yeah,
Because I'm
yeah,
not even gonna lie. There have been times where I've been the pit crew of somebody and felt like that. You know, because
Yeah,
just because
yeah,
they treat their pit crew like family. I mean, because they are
hmm,
family, right? It's not like they're treating
yeah.
them like their
Yeah.
family. They are family, and that's a big difference, and especially where it comes to like organizations that don't have that pit help. You know, I feel like that's a huge thing in the lower divisionals where if you're not in a camp and you're not
Oh
under an
yeah.
umbrella, it's a huge struggle.
Yeah, especially at NXL when it's like it feels kind of slower paced like when you're there to a degree, but stuff's going probably a million miles a minute, especially the younger kids, when you're traveling, having jet lags. Even for me doing media, I'm beat by the time I just fly in,
Yep.
so there's like a lot of extra stuff going on. But I've filmed a lot on the pro field and things, but I film divisionals and D5s and things like that, and you could tell like sometimes it seems in the beginning start off well, but then later they're not. So just like you'll see in the divisionals that like stuff just starts going all hell's breaking loose because it's just not organized, and especially when you're going to NXL and spending that much money, it doesn't matter what division you're playing 3-man, or whatnot. Like you still need like people there to help you win. It's you're there to win, and if you don't have the people behind you, it doesn't matter necessarily what you do on the field sometimes.
Like pod runners, like those are needed. It's not like you can.
Yeah,
It's not like you can go back out. You know, I mean, you can, but dude, the amount of stamina that it would
That's
take
so
to
hard.
like play a
yeah,
point, be on like the far side, the Dorito side, run all the way down, push their buzzer,
yeah,
come back in,
yeah.
get dripped off, go back out, grab all your pods, come back in, like all in 40 seconds, bro.
Yeah, it's yeah,
No,
especially like on the profit. I did a couple pod running things in between media at a couple events ago for like aftermath, and like I thought they gave you more time. That's
no, it's
Profield's like
quick.
30
Yeah,
Yeah.
seconds.
I think
And
it's
then
40
sometimes
seconds.
sometimes in the long points I'd run over there and there's like 8 pods at each bunker. I was like, my bag can't even hold that many pods, bro. Like what
Yes.
am I supposed to? And I'm just and I remember one time like I just grabbed the pod bag and I know you shouldn't, but like I had my pro media jersey on and I just ran next to the ref on the net and I just hungered to say, "Hey, sorry, bro, I couldn't make it." He's like, "All right, just
Oh,
stay. He's like, just stay there, bro." And then I just went off to the point, because like
what?
if they're like because like they obviously see me. I mean, I shouldn't get special treatment. I'm like, but they probably see me as a pro media running around picking up pods for a team and stuff. And like I had like 25 red pods from Aftermath, and I
Yeah,
was just
wow.
like, dude, 30 seconds for me to go to every bunker, and then like they're on the far pit and they play on the other side of that
Yep.
point, so it's like, and like I can run, but like I'm not the fastest person ever.
Dude,
Uh,
you are, I think, the first media guy that I've ever heard that picked up another pro team's pods ever.
I doubled
Yeah,
in.
like
I've never
I
heard
was
that.
a little bit I was a little bit lighter for media, and then like I somehow I got kind of wrapped into like some of the pod media group chats. Like, hey, dude, like, I think it was like New York Extreme or new some team in semi pro like a couple events ago or one or whatever. I ran for them, and then I ran for Aftermath, made sure I got paid, and I was like, dude, I just made some extra money for not even filming, and it literally was on the field for like 25 minutes picking up pods for both events, and then I was like, money,
Yeah.
cash. I mean,
That's
it's
funny.
like when you're already there for 3 days, just sitting around for 4 hours waiting for your next team to film. I'm not going back to Airbnb. It's just like, why not make an extra $100 in cash in like 40 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I
So, like
that,
I'm there to like have fun. I'm also there to hustle. Like
I
I'm
was just
not
about to say
flying
that.
to Florida just to sit there and party. Like I'm there to film and make some money, but also enjoy my time. But like I'm there to work, at the end of the day. So
100%. And like we kind of have like that same mindset as players where it's like, sure we can go and have fun and fuck around, but we're there to play. Like if you
yeah,
expend a ton of energy before you play, how good is that really doing for you, especially if you're trying to compete in like a
yeah.
higher echelon of play, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to be an Airbnb, even for a media person, but for a player, it's hard to be an Airbnb with like 15, 16 dudes in Excel and expect to like get adequate sleep and stuff unless like you have the camp that I stay with. That's just like, like, yeah, people will linger, everyone falls asleep at a different time, but it's just like, yo, 10 o'clock. I don't care if anyone's sleep on the couch in the living room. You could be on your phone, do whatever. Just like basically shut up and just like try to go to sleep,
Who you room
because
with?
it's like altitude sickness
Okay, those guys, those
out of
Okay, yeah.
I'm
Colorado.
pretty.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
guys are
yeah.
making a
I
bump up
linked
to
up
D
with
two
I
now, right? Or
Yeah,
D semi
yeah,
pro.
yeah. I linked up with Mikey. I started filming Mikey in Texas of like 2024 when it was like super muddy and rainy and stuff. So that
Ugh,
was the first time that
yikes.
I linked up. And then I've been staying there Airbnb for like the last 4 events. And they're good dudes, but we have like 15, 16 dudes and they have a D4 and a D4, sometimes D3 and like the D2 line. So it seems like one line always plays at like 8 in the morning. And then like the better or like the premier line, I should say, plays at like like 4 o'clock. So it's just like the time crunch of 20 players trying to figure out like that gap and when to go to sleep. Because people that play at 4, like we're not going crazy drinking and partying with the people that play at 4. Like we're like, I don't need to go to bed at 10 o'clock, bro. I still got plenty of time to chill. We want to stay up and do whatever,
Yes.
But
And
like you said, basically as being like a team, you got to make sure the stuff even at the room save your energy. You can't be drinking all night, doing whatever. That's after whenever you win or lose, that's when the drinking and stuff can
yeah,
happen. But
I mean, and,
Party
and the thing
after.
is, you can drink, dude. The free will is a 100% thing. You can drink, but
yeah.
don't expect to do good or get playtime. You know?
Yeah, if you go to the field the next morning at 7 o'clock and you're hammered, bro,
Yeah, like
you're
you
gonna be the pod runner now and you're not getting paid.
exactly. Yeah, dude. The not paid part is the tragic part. But one thing you said that I 100% agree with you. How you were bouncing around because you're moving around so much. Whenever I see you at events, dude, you are locked in. You are locked
Yeah.
in to where it's like I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, he's in flow state. And when you see somebody in
Yeah.
that state, you're not trying to go up and be like, hey, dude, and like stop him and try to talk for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's like sometimes people will stop me, and sometimes like at NXL and certain other events, people that like I don't really know, I've never like met or whatever. I try to give them the moment, but sometimes like, hey, catch me like later. But
mhm.
I told someone the other day, I was just like, if you see me like ever like sitting on the net or just look like I'm sad or like beat up, like I'm probably am a little bit. But like you talk about conserving energy, I just like try to conserve energy. So it's like I just go point A to point B, and you'll just see me off to the corner just chilling, resting, getting all my energy and stuff. So yeah, I'm usually going because like sometimes at Dub C's I'm filming like 8 or 9 teams,
holy
and
shit,
like
that's a lot.
I
That's a
get the
lot.
premiere guys done on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday I have basically like 6 or 7 D4 D5 teams. So it's like I have no time really to even like drink water, eat. I still make sure I stay hydrated and stuff, but like I don't basically have downtime at all. So
I mean, when you're
Well,
hustling like
usually if you
that,
go- go
that's
Mhm. It's a lot, especially carrying that camera all day. That's
oh
like
yeah.
basically like a 7, 8 because I've been doing a little bit more freehand and not using my tripod as much to try to save my back and try to get some different like shots and things. But like when I used to carry a tripod and the camera in all the time, that's like a 10, 12 pound weight for like 30 hours on the weekend. So that's just that alone like is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Kane, it looked like
But
you were gonna say something.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So being that like you're so popular now in hustling, what made you originally pick up the camera?
Valid.
Um, Yeah, it's a good question. So I've always kind of been interested in like technology and editing, and me and my brother, did little videos and edited a couple little paintball videos with my mom's like, really crappy digital camera 15, 20 years ago, So,
Like
but
before I was born.
I think I want to say it's probably maybe 6 years by now, 5 or 6 years. I wouldn't say we did it because like the vlogging and Jake Paul stuff was like popular, but yeah, obviously everyone that stuff was trying to, be an influencer. And I wouldn't say I was trying to be an influencer. I just wanted to like kind of get my craft and just like do things, and see if I can like make content, or whatnot. So I kind of just got a camera, similar type of brand that I have now. And my friend and I, we made probably like 4 or 5 videos, but we like went to like the Malibu, did like kayaking, and then like I had the drone, and then like we would go like hiking and do some things and like just have a good time or whatever. So that's kind of where I got into it, and then I kind of just stopped really recording and didn't really have a camera. Just kind of was going through life, college, a little bit, and playing paintball and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, when I was playing on the team, for whatever reason, I kind of just felt like I put my GoPro, my YouTube channel started basically kind of it goes hand in hand. Like I just put my GoPro on my gun and was kind of filming my gameplay and stuff. And then I kind of saw like Matt the Gym Rat and like what 40 Media does and stuff.
Love
And I
those
was kind of
guys.
maybe I'll get another camera, film my friends, give them my GoPro. We'll do a little bit of everything because I was just doing B-roll with the GoPro at practice and like vlogging just with the GoPro. Like that's how I started making
Mhm.
all the videos. And then eventually when I got the camera, I think I got it like a week before the Hormesis finals at SC Village, the first one they had. And that's where I met Todd Boyer, and then I just filmed that. And then Todd Boyer basically was just like we were talking when in between some of the matches, and he's like, "Yo, you want to go to Chicago and film?" It's like, it's like the first time I ever like filmed paintball is this 1v1 tournament. And he's just like, "I don't care, bro. Like, I don't have a filmer. I can ask anybody. I see your drive. Let's do it." So I basically like 2 months later got a plane ticket, went to Chicago, and filmed the Missouri All Stars and Todd Boyer, and that's literally how I started filming paintball.
Wow.
Love that.
And
What a
that
cool
and it
opportunity.
was just from just vlogging with the boys.
Yeah, because I was playing and I had a GoPro, so I figured like let's just put my GoPro on my gun. Maybe we'll learn some things. Just do whatever. So like my first like 10 videos was just my GoPro on my gun, basically raw footage of me just playing with my team.
Mm.
And then I started like using the GoPro like before practice. My brother was on my team or my plays paintball with me, so he would drive or whatnot, and I would just kind of vlog us a little bit. I'd get to the field. I'd even, like I said, I did a lot of B-roll. I'd like go around, show the pods like it with my regular camera now, show pods, signs. I do a time lapse, so it's like we're stretching and it goes quick. So like I do with just one GoPro basically. And then I eventually got another GoPro so I could just have one on my gun the whole time and then one, on the stick or whatnot. But yeah.
Wow, that is awesome
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think I'm starting to get into kind of like filming, not like that, but yet at least to where I think what some of the drive of it is documenting. For me, I like to document my
Yes.
time with my friends to where it's like I can look at it and I mean, 40 years ago you couldn't do that, right?
No,
And
no.
so it's so awesome to be able to go back and see like that time. I mean, it's kind of like nostalgic where people get kind of emotional about it when in movies where they find like an old
Yeah.
VHS tape and it's like film,
Yeah.
it's like family footage from like 1991 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. We still
imagine
have a lot of
through
those
time
tapes.
we're going to be able to see like not only the transition in technology because recording on an iPhone 5 is way different from recording on an iPhone 14 Pro Max.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Of course.
so I think
Yeah.
documenting is such an awesome thing because you can kind of cement yourself in history in a way. Like,
Yeah, and it's even if it's just for your personal personal growth.
yeah.
Because some every once in a while, like my friend and I will be like that played on my team will like be at his house and we'll be barbecuing or something, and then we would just like go back to some of like the first videos like I made, and
Mm,
like we'd watch maybe like the first like five when I started doing the B-roll and stuff, and you can see like just in those first five with like maybe the first month or so, you could just see the gradual like improvement of just like my will and the storytelling and stuff because it was kind of basic. Then I
mm,
started getting more of us in the pit, and like doing all that stuff. And then that's the one thing that I enjoy now is like getting all the pit footage, telling
yes.
stories. And I think it's the one thing, at least for a videographer, next year I'm gonna try to like change some things up because I really want to focus on storylines more and do more pit footage like I used to. And I feel like I run so ragged around the field. And it's not anyone's fault but mine by hiring a bunch of teams, but I kind of like lose like that opportunity to really
Mm,
get what it means to play paintball because when I go back, I might have a bunch of cool bunkering clips, but at the end of the day, if like you really want to, I feel like, and me personally, if you want to try to grow paintball to the outside world, well, you're gonna need to like have like you said the documenting of the characters
yeah.
because that's like what movies are. Like a lot of people when they watch movies, it's because of the characters that's in the movie, not as much as like the environment or something. So that's what like, we need to kind of drive to because at some point when you sit there and there's 600 gigabytes of just paintball clips, it's like, no, I wouldn't say the word's overwhelming, but it just kind of, it just kind of meshes all together at
Yeah.
some point when you've been doing it for 2 years. So there needs to be a little breakup stuff.
Okay, so would you say that for 2026 season you want to kind of like film more storyline?
Yeah, because I used to do that because that's one of my kind of things with Todd Boyer when we did it. He's like, hey, he's just like, I'll pay, like regular prices, as media, and I trust you. Just what I want you to do is like really focus on a lot of like the pit footage and B-roll and not, like get every point, but we want a little bit of everything. So I did make one documentary on the All-Stars, and I mean, I look back, obviously some improvements, but I did voiceovers, B-roll, made my own graphic scoreboard. So that's like the type of stuff that even if I can't use it to get monetized because of all like the songs that I like to use, it's more of the documentation and I don't really care about, the 10 or 20 bucks that I'd make on you. It's more about just like watching that and like premiering it, and trying to have it and people come to like the YouTube premiere and like
Yeah.
be a community. Even if you're not part of the team or don't care for the
It's a
team, the whole
passion
point is to
project.
try to just get people, So that's basically what I want to do is like try to focus on more of the storyline, take less teams, even if that means like my prices, go up a little bit. But I think for the quality and what I've done and how many events I've been traveling to, I think, I could say that feel like I'm worth it, and I think it would be more beneficial to the paintball community as a whole, locally and United States, to really get back to more of the storylines, like I said, like Heroes for a Day and those type of DVDs instead of just crazy banger clips all the time. It's cool to have those, but I think we need to get back to the other stuff too.
I agree, and that is such an interesting perspective because I mean, I think we have to go towards that. We have to go towards a storytelling and character development because, I mean, this might be like a horrible example, but I feel like people who have never seen Avengers before, they wouldn't like turn on and see Captain America and be like immediately invested, right? It's the fact that,
Mhm.
or just Steve Rogers. Sorry, Steve Rogers. Nobody would give a fuck about Steve Rogers, but the fact that he's Captain America, oh shit, a little bit of character development. Guy has got a heart of 1,000 suns. Wow, Captain America. Now that's when people start really liking it.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a fuck about Steve Rogers, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that you're kind of putting a story on it. Does that mean you're gonna? Is there any team that you're looking to settle down with and like be like, okay, this is one team that I want to really put a lot of time in, document, and make something amazing
Well,
for?
for sure, my boys, Altitude Sickness. I've been filming them for almost 2 years now, and I've filmed probably like 9 NXL events that they've been in.
Wow.
So I have like a lot of footage, and I did a lot more B-roll in the beginning, but I've been the last couple NXLs, I've just been trying to finish the year, make some money, do whatever. So I still film B-roll and stuff for them, but like I want to get more like talking and like interviews and like those type of things. Like I'm at the Airbnb, but when, like I said, when there's like 15, 16 people, it is kind of hard to like pull some people aside and do the interviews and stuff. But if we really want to make it content and if they want to have some like banger videos and stuff, then it's just something that like they have to sacrifice the Airbnb for 5 minutes. But I want to do things like that, where you just see the person sitting on the couch, of the Airbnb, interviewing them, whether it's about the day or the season, and just add those in as well. So I just want to like feel like I want to just offer more of like a complete package. So at the end of the year, when you talk about like memories and looking back at stuff, teams have more of like what they did for the whole year instead of just 15, 16 clips an event of just them playing on the field.
I agree because paintball is weird. There is almost two personas. They're like a like Harvey Two Face kind of thing, where you have the person with the mask on, then you have him with it off. And
Mm.
some people, they are completely different people,
Yeah.
from
Definitely.
on the field to off, right? I mean, people have told me
Yeah.
that about myself, where it's like, I'm a nice guy, but then once you get on the field, it's it's a different
Yeah.
game.
No more
And
Mr.
Yeah.
Nice Guy.
and so I like that a lot. That you have to. I feel like interviews add such a depth to videos like that,
Hmm.
because if you're only getting really one side of the picture, and paintball is everything is through media is like through a phone now, where you're like scrolling vertically. Paintball is a horizontal sport where you have to watch it on the
Yeah.
screen, you have to watch it sideways, wide vision, because you can see what's going on. You
Yeah.
know,
Making some of the reels aren't really, if I do them on my computer, they're not too bad because I can kind of zoom and like move things over as I need to. But if you're trying to edit them quick, or you're right, it's like a lot of things don't necessarily happen. Maybe the focal point of like a player I'm looking at is in the middle, but a lot of things around it aren't in the focal point for vertical, so you don't really understand like what's going around the player.
yes.
So it would be nice to like get that guy like when I do on YouTube, like the guy's still making the sick slow-mo shot or whatnot, but you can kind of see what's going around and understand like why he's diving or like why he stopped this bunker short maybe or slid shorter or something. Just subliminally in your mind just by watching the video without overthinking it or something.
Okay, I like that. So that brings
I
up a
mean, because
question.
that's what we do nowadays on social media, right? Half the
Yeah.
time, it's like I try not to, but half the time when we start scrolling through videos, a lot of it, like we might pick up things or like learn for good or for worse, but we're not like sitting there thinking about it. We just have watched so much content that eventually just gets consumed in your brain, and your brain is just like, hey, like, pick little things, and maybe a week from now, you didn't even know you watched that Instagram or that TikTok video, but that stupid little idea or something might like,
Yeah.
pop up. So that's kind of how it is, I guess.
That kind of brings up my question. If anybody wanted to kind of follow in your footsteps and kind of get into that style of media, what kind of tip or advice would you give them?
I've had some people ask me certain things about like what I do or how I started or whatnot or what I'm pursuing, and I'd say at the end of the day, it's kind of just putting out the content out there first,
Yep.
but you want to make sure you're putting like good stuff out. Like when I say just keep putting content out, 'cause that's all people say. Like you just don't want to put like crap out because then everyone's like your first couple of reels, certain things aren't going to be that well. But I would say like just have confidence in yourself to a degree. I mean, you're going to be nervous, especially if you're doing it when I was doing it. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was going and filming an NXL event for my first time, but I think I did a decent enough job, to post it. And I got it out there, and I was getting, one, 2 3 likes. And if like you can just deal with the day to day basically of like the slow growth and realize, especially being in paintball, that it's not like a crazy marketable sport, so it's going to be a lot harder time to like build a brand. It doesn't matter what it is, media, clothing, whatever. It's just going to be, a little tougher. But I'd say just keep doing it, just put out the content, be confident, and just learn every day. Because when I got the 11 likes, it's kind of just like whatever. But now I'm collabing with Die and HK Army and all this bigger stuff, and it naturally, a lot of the stuff like kind of naturally came to me. I'm not the best business minded person, I'd say. I'm more of the behind the camera creator, so there's levels that I have to like learn about myself and like my brand. But a lot of the opportunities that I had, it's because it's just like I've just been doing it for so much. I've traveled for so many places and just have like shown up that eventually people that like need me for hit up me. When I've had my pro passes, yeah, a couple of them, I made some connections like, hey, like I want to try to be in the pro field. But like after that, once you kind of like make that in, then it's kind of like other brands like, hey, like we actually need a guy. Brett's there. Brett's always at an event. And that's the other thing too. I tell people it's showing up. You don't have to show up to every NXL event like I do to do media. But if you can like try to go to every Dub C event, ASG if you're SoCal, and just like show your face, that's where like a lot of people just eventually learn. Because I advertise on social media and Instagram, but a lot of my like media doesn't necessarily come from there. It's like people that see me at the field, or like someone else that saw like that I'm shooting for my friend Pup or whatever. So a lot of it's been kind of word of mouth, and just showing up and seeing me there has been kind of a big thing. So I would just say showing up and just feel confident, in your work, and just put it out there. Because we live in a time where social media goes so fast that you could scroll through a video in a minute. But so if you just keep putting content that's good, eventually at some point someone's gonna hopefully stay on that video for longer than 5 seconds, or stay there and watch it. So
Definitely. I remember
Absolutely.
Ryan would get kind of annoyed because how many people would ask him like, "Hey, how did you start? How did you get started?" He just got to the point where
mhm.
he would just be like, "Start,
Yeah, you just
start doing it."
I think it's like anything in life. I mean, you want to probably start something you're kind of a little more passionate, but
For
you just
sure.
start anything that's like that. You kind of, at least that when you start it, you're not just going to try to give up in a week. Like, you don't just want to pick something that looks like you're going to make a lot of money, but then you get into a week and it's like you're not going to make any money because you don't give a crap about doing it. So,
Yeah,
the biggest thing, like I said, is just starting. Like anything in life, no matter if it's a job, working at Walmart, a mechanic, whatever life, you just start doing it and learning it. And eventually, it sucks to kind of look at things day by day sometimes, but
for
like when
sure.
I've actually stepped back, 2.5 years from now, and kind of analyze it day by day and kind of look at those older videos and stuff, like the progression has happened like underneath my eyes without even me like realizing. Like I realize it, like what is happening in the moment,
Hmm.
and like how hard I've kind of worked for it. But when you actually like look at the transition of like kind of how kind of being certain areas in the right place, right time, I guess, with like Todd Boyer and things, and giving me my open, to my first event to NXL and little things like that.
I feel like you have to
But the
show up to
most
even
part,
get those opportunities, though. You know.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So you kind of just showing up, and just, the opportunities will be there, and the transition has been crazy when I really look back, for the 2.5 years or whatnot I've been filming for.
Absolutely. You know, one thing that I can kind of relate to that is this podcast. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
it's almost been or I guess it has been a thing for 3 years, a little bit over 3 years. It's so crazy. We started out as just a group of guys that were sitting in a Discord call, no cameras, no
Hmm.
nothing, just staring at each other's icons, talking. And now it's at the point to where it's cool because we're getting merch made, we're getting merch
Yeah,
sold, which is just as
that's
important.
cool.
It's we have sponsors like shout out to Wells, Hormesis, and Capital Edge. That those wouldn't even be sponsors if there was no podcast or even starting, right? And because that was kind of hard for me when
Exactly.
Ryan left. It was like, oh shit, jump, either do it or don't. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not trying to be that guy that a lot of time goes by and 4 weeks goes by. Oh shit, what happened to From the Sidelines? Oh shit, wait, they're still making content after Ryan left. I
Yeah.
didn't even want a
Yeah.
single bump in the road. So that was you had to
Yeah.
learn fast for that. So what are those
Yeah.
things that you had to
Yeah.
learn fast in media?
Um, As far film specifically, like filming wise, the sport of paintball, I mean, I've had like IQ as far as playing and stuff, but just a lot of angles, a lot of like just camera dilemmas. As far as like filming wise, like camera dilemmas on the fly. I've had issues, cameras are not recording or something, or me not pushing record, those things, and it kind of it's kind of weird how much of like a mental game for me like filming, because I really try to be as perfection as I can, and like and try to film every single point that I can. So when I miss things, or if I like just something stupid where like I don't push record, or like maybe I did push record and I was letting it go, and then when I've done that before where I've kind of like let the recording go a little bit, and then not even thinking, I go to record a point and I push it to actually stop the recording instead of
Mm.
letting it just keep recording, like little things like that. But when you're at the field for 30 plus hours, at some point, like little things happen. But
Now I gotta check. Are we
um
recording? Yeah, we're recording. We're good. We're good. We're good. I had to
but
double check myself.
I'd say like little camera things, and I think just like the mental aspect of as long as you're like really trying, and like you're showing that like you're really trying to get to the fields and filming people, and if there's a point missed or two, it's going to happen. Especially people know who I am, they know they're not the only person being filmed. But as long as you just keep showing your dedication, and not just like slacking or completely missing matches and things like that, that's like really important. So but also the like schedule juggling has been
That's a talent.
one to really,
Yeah.
there's not really anything you could really learn. It just sometimes how to cut corners, how to miss a point here and there, and things like that. But that's been one that's just like, it's never gonna, I'm always gonna have that issue
Mm.
no matter what. But that's why at the same time, that kind of comes with like the B-roll thing, and like the more of the storytelling. If I have a little bit less teams, then hopefully I'll have less overlaps and those things, and I can sit there for that extra hour. Because a lot of times it's like I'm filming a point, got like 10 minutes to the next one, and the field's like that field over there, and this one's over here. So like that 10 minutes of extra potential footage and things like that, I'm like running to the next field. So if I
Mm.
like have those extra 30, 40 minutes, I can focus on that. But um, and I'd say for going to NXL, like players, it's important to have proper housing and food and stuff. But I'd say for NXL, nutrition, and just anywhere like nutrition and just keeping your health up, because I typically am like, I'm pretty like healthy person, but I don't eat the best foods. I don't always like eating at the right times of the field. I go a long time, without eating or drinking water, and I always make sure I go to teams and grab enough to hold me over. But
Mm.
I'd say like nutrition and are very important, because I usually like end up going to sleep at like 11, 12 o'clock at night. So I'm just a later person. So when I do my editing, and then a lot of my teams are at like 7 in the morning, so up at 5. So I don't get like a lot of sleep in NXL. So like that extra just hydration and food is like the biggest, I'd say, like not difficulty, but the biggest thing that's important that I've learned over longevity. Because I think I thought about it today, and think I filmed like 15 or 16 events, including when I went up to Capitol Edge and whatnot. So it's definitely after that of a year of, even if it's just holding a camera and whatnot and traveling, it takes a lot like on your person as just,
Oh,
as a
100%.
human being. So
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest thing for longevity for filming, just like a player, is definitely nutrition and hydration. Make sure you bring stuff to the field in a cooler. Don't try to rely on everyone else, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So that's like the biggest thing. But I haven't had too many difficulties, like too many crazy difficulties. But I think the biggest difficulties I've had this year that I've had to just like breathe, I've been traveling. I don't know why I seem to get like the most jacked up plane flights or delays or mechanical
Mm.
issues where we got to
Mm.
land in another state. So I've had
Jeez.
some like interesting travel things that have happened this year, and it's like frustrating because instead of landing at 4 o'clock and filming the next day at 7, you're now landing at 8 or 9 at night and getting to the Airbnb at 10:30 and have to be up at
Yep.
5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So like that kind of comes with health, and just make sure on traveling that you're doing well. So I say that's the biggest like difficulty, or the biggest thing that I've learned, is just more of the nutritional and keeping yourself good, and just try to set yourself up to best prepare, have your camera settings ready, everything to go, and just do the best you can to try to record as many points and do the best job you can.
Yeah, it's hard when you're have to walk 10 minutes away. It's 8 minutes of walking and 2 minutes of eating and drinking.
Yeah,
It's like you really have to
yeah,
kind of like time slot that out. One of our teammates is really good about that. Is our teammate Paul? Is he will get hangry and he will let us know that he is hangry. Then he's like, all right, guys, what the fuck we doing? We need to go get some food. Like we need to take care of
yeah,
ourselves. Where it's like obviously
yeah,
sometimes we want to obviously I mean me especially where I kind of want to stay at the field, shoot some extra content, shoot some
yeah,
interviews. But it's like
yeah,
we're athletes first, and that's some things
yeah,
that sometimes I stray from where it's like podcast has to come second. Especially when
yeah,
it comes to that. So it's
yeah.
it's a very interesting
Yeah.
dynamic when it comes to taking care of yourself as a
Mm,
media person. So
yes.
damn interesting. So nutrition is the number one. Okay, wow.
Yeah, I'd say that as far as like longevity wise, I would say it's a lot because just traveling and being especially when it's the events like Texas where it gets up to like 102 degrees every day for the
Mm-hmm.
weekend and there's really
Mm-hmm.
no shade cover. I learned that like it doesn't matter anything about the camera gear, it matters about you because if you don't
Yes.
make it, no one's gonna because at the end of the day, if you don't make it to the field, like it doesn't matter what your camera does because it's not gonna, record itself or record the people itself.
Yeah.
So
It's like
you got to make
Picasso and a
sure that
paintbrush,
you're
you know?
healthy.
Painting's not going to
Yeah,
paint
we all
itself.
know we all know at a paintball events, it doesn't matter where it's at. We get the worst weather ever.
Mother
So
Nature
no
hates
matter
paintball,
where.
dude.
So
You know?
honest.
Have you, so, okay. So now that I've seen some of your work posted on HK, and I remember messaging you about some of it.
Hmm.
How did that come about? How does getting with such a premier company like HK? How does that come about?
So I feel like I wouldn't say like I've known Mark personally at all but I've known of him for a long time. Paintball, Southern California. So we probably messaged here and there through like Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
just when I've been a kid, or like growing up, like most people probably have. And then it was the first night they did glow ball at ASG.
How
Or no,
long ago
not
was
global,
that?
night ball. I'm sorry. I want to say it was whenever they started doing night games. I want to say around like August, September when it's more hot here
Okay.
because it's in Paris, so ASG is really hot. So I want to say somewhere between August, September, somewhere around there. They were doing the night ball, and ASG is a little farther from my house, about an hour. SC is about 30 minutes, so it's a little bit of a drive there and back, especially if
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not really, I mean, I don't need to always make money, but if I'm gonna go places on like a random Thursday night to film paintball, it'd be nice to try to get some bread at least for gas, and
Yep.
whatever. So
Yeah.
I just post, I try to do little things here and there. People, I just post on my Instagram like, hey, I'll shoot a couple clips and make a reel for like $50, right? Like you're not gonna get media cheaper than $50 for me ever,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a few clips, or real. So I was just like, I'll go out there. So then one of my friends was like, "Yeah, I'll pay you," and on. And then like Mark hit me up, and Mark randomly was just like, "All right, bro, like that's a good price if you come out there and like film, some night ball. Like, we'll like hook you up a little bit." And I wasn't worried about like getting money from Mark or
Mm-hmm.
anything. I was just was cool that like he asked me to go out there, and it's like I'm gonna go out there anyways, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna go out there. He obviously asked me, and so I went out there basically to ASG besides the ASG photographer or videographer that was there, I was like one of the only more immediate people that I saw that was kind of there just filming and stuff. And I think maybe Mark appreciated it. That's for my honesty. And then I just filmed. They did the live cast, and just was talking whatever. And then so we kind of like made that little connection. I think it was like the first connection, just going to Nightball and like I said, showing up. I
Mm-hmm.
never showed up, to be honest. Like if I never showed up to that first night of Nightball, then some of the opportunities that I've gotten or been given through HK wouldn't have happened.
Wow.
Potentially, you never want to say, for sure, but like that was like kind of like
Definitive.
me showing kind of my dedication that I'm just gonna go on a Wednesday night to ASG and just like go film some night ball, So it's like so
Yeah.
that's basically where the connection started. And then just and then over the past couple of months, just like little things here and there when they needed some guy to go places or a little bit farther or travel outside so the other people like Danny and stuff can kind of keep doing the office work or
Mm.
the office editing and like the more the behind the, I wouldn't say office editing, like the products, and all the stuff,
Yeah.
great stuff that he does, he focuses on that. So I've been kind of doing some odd ends and jobs here and there when they needed me to go and kind of just been that's kind of how it started.
Wow. That's
Just
awesome.
showing up to Nightball and just filming.
That's awesome because we
So
have
that's
Global coming
Yeah.
up here at Capital Edge pretty soon, and I'm probably gonna go out there. I'm gonna try to get
Oh
myself an
yeah, that would be
opportunity. You
dope.
never know, you know. Uh,
Yeah, 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 yeah. That would be dope.
so with all these opportunities, Brett, what is your goal in total, big picture? What is your goal with paintball and
Um,
with all of us in general?
so like my, I feel like I'm like a little bit behind the curve, and I've like kind of done things a little bit late in as far as like media and where we've been going with technology and the opportunities that have been here for so many years. At the end of the day, we always have to start somewhere, make opportunities, and just go for it. And no matter how big or small the niche is, there's always, I think, opportunities to find like your own, your route. So like my end goal at some point in like life as like a career would be like trying to own some like media company, whether that be like I
Mm,
would like to do more for like sports, like be able to like get some like higher profile things, or like, for teams or whatnot, but like maybe like some sports videography, like have some sort of media company that I could say is mine, and have some employees or whatnot and do things, and like that's kind of like would be like an end goal in life. I already live in California. Things are already expensive. I'm used to
Yep.
like not having a shitload of money to like do things anyway. It's like I am at this point where like I don't need to be like very like crazy rich or like wealthy person. I'm not shooting for that. I just want to be kind of comfortable and at least say I've like built something and I can enjoy doing something for the rest of my life till I retire one day or if I ever retire. So that's kind of like the end goal. But as far as like the paintball wise, I think it's like for me, the money's been like nice at events and I built myself up where like I'm doing pretty good like with the weekends that I have. I've done pretty good as far as the income is just the tournament wise. My goal is just to kind of more learn about myself and grow and hopefully through paintball and through my freelance, just keep self teaching myself. So when I actually do try to maybe go a little production route or whether it's get a job in production or start my own media company, I feel like I have more insight on how to do it more professionally and like commercially to agree when those aspects are needed instead of just so much like run and gun. I do a lot of run and gun in freelance, but I feel like for me personally, there's still like things when I look at like HK's advertisements and products and things like that. I'm like kind of mesmerized because it's like really good job and
Oh
like I
yeah.
think they put it together right. And I think it's why they've been doing so well for so many years because like they're doing the right thing for paintball. So like I want to start getting to like that side a little bit more and learning about those more production things that I can
Mm.
add instead of just being at a paintball field. Because when I started doing the YouTube, I said, I just put the GoPro on my gun. I didn't expect to like film any events. It was just for more personal, capturing the moments and kind of, doing it. So I had like no idea. But like now that I'm doing it, I've always thought about more like building portfolio. Like when I apply for jobs or go for media things or stuff, I could just be like, here's my profile. My Instagram, is actually pretty clean. I don't post any like derogatory things, whatever. So I don't have a problem like showing people my Instagram, like
Hmm.
a boss for as a far portfolio. And that's why I have that other Slack and media one that I usually send where I don't really try to grow that one crazy. I just like always collaborate with myself when I post it on my other account. So that way, if someone needs a portfolio, all it has is just pictures and videos of paintball and whatnot, and not like me talking, or things like that. And then that's where my YouTube is. Like I've been just building my YouTube up as more of a portfolio thing than it's more of like an income thing.
Interesting.
Smart.
So,
I
because
like that.
Okay.
I've learned from being in paintball for so long that there's money to a certain degree if you find like the niches or like get the certain type of job for the most part. It's not like being thrown at you.
Hmm.
So the biggest thing I can take away from paintball, just like from playing, is more personal and self gain and just learning how to improve my craft. So like the job opportunities that'll come hopefully later that's outside of paintball or maybe inside of paintball. If there's those jobs for media available that I just basically learn about myself and just kind of keep improving and just try to be the best videographer I can at the end of the day.
Wow. That is awesome. Holy shit. You know, and I mean, considering genuinely, because I kind of saw your media when you first started coming back in the game, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" So I clicked on your profile, and I'm like, "Oh shit, not bad." Like I remember
Yeah.
watching the Missouri All Stars one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I've tried to get Todd on the podcast a time, but he's a very busy guy. Obviously, the guy, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he
Oh
owns his
yeah.
paintball
Yeah.
field, right? It,
Yeah, he does a
two
lot
hours
of
is a lot,
sites, and yeah, it is.
right? So that's another thing. Appreciate you for coming on, bro. Seriously, you're the
Oh
man.
no, of course, of course. So when I was told or asked to come on, I should say I was going to give my undivided attention as much time as I needed to not cut it short and give you guys the full attention and information you guys, are looking for.
We appreciate that. And because
Yeah.
when I went on the podcast at Center 50, uh, every single time they asked me, I would be out of town to where I wouldn't be at my
Mm,
setup,
yeah.
and I'm not trying
Yeah.
to give them, a show from my car for 15 minutes,
Yeah, if you're gonna
while
do
I'm
it right,
driving.
you might as well try to, yeah, do it as much as you can. That's why when I've like done my podcast a couple times, just or some like videos, I try to make sure the person like hopefully has access to a laptop or
Hmm.
computer or something and a webcam. Because same thing with like me, like I wouldn't come on here like on my mobile phone, or whatnot. It just wouldn't feel right or feel the same. So
Yeah, and the thing is, there are times where there are some people genuinely that are technologically deficient. You know, like
true. I
Discord.
can't like downplay it too much. Yeah, I've built my own computers pretty much. So like I have a pretty
Oh, you know
expensive
what's up.
computer. So any time that like I could use my computer for this type of thing, I'm gonna use it. I spent too much money, in
Yep.
cameras and building it and
Yep.
things over the years. So like I gotta use it for this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Ryan Greenspan knows what Discord is. You know,
Probably.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like when it comes to anybody that's a little bit older, I'm like, when I comes to ask them about being on, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta tell them about
Yeah.
Discord. You know?
And then you get some of those surprise older people that like know more than you do, and you're just like,
Yes,
bro,
this is nice.
what?
I like this guy.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Like, shit, you set up my Discord for me then if you're
You
so
know,
good. All right.
it's like, Joe, if you, I'll hire you, bro. You know, customize my shit for me. But okay, that's an awesome goal. I think that the whole media company thing, bro, you're speaking my language. Love that shit. I think I genuinely, I hope you get to that stage. That is awesome. I look at like whenever I hear that, I look at companies like Barstool Media or companies like Tetherball Media, you know, just things like that that grow into these huge meccas of media, you know, and I think that would be awesome one day. That's a great goal to have, bro. Seriously.
Yeah, because at least right now, like, there's a lot of things. I mean, everything in life is going pretty well, but there's a lot of, you know, like things in life that I'm just the type of person that keep to myself. But I've been pretty much freelancing since I think I was working for a crane company like 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, and
crane
I just
company?
got like cranes, you know, like big ass cranes.
Yep.
So like
It's
I was
one- one
I
out
didn't
the
know
way.
because some people were like cranes, and I'm just like, yeah, like a crane, bro. Some people, you know, asked. So I did like permits, like dealing with traveling permits through cities and things like that. So I was there for about 3 years, and that's when like around the time that they downsized positions and I got let go, I was kind of doing like the GoPro and the paintball and YouTubing and stuff. So I was kind of just doing it, and then for the longest time, like I've been like, you know, like staying afloat. But I think at this point, being 33, I kind of just looked at it just like at this point, like I'm still young, but like there's only so much time that you could build a foundation with something because everything good takes time. So like you said, the longer you wait doing the podcast or starting the podcast or delays, like just the longer it takes to get to the inevitable goal. So I was kind of just like at this point, I might as well just put my eggs in the basket, you know, things align, you know, film the all-star and stuff. So it's just like I've like sacrificed like a lot, you know, of of like certain things,
Oh yeah.
you know, more stability in life because it's like I truly believe in this, and I
Yes.
believe that like, you know, and there's been moments where because of that I haven't like maybe posted a video as much or kind of like had my little slips on like YouTube and not posting because it's like just taking a toll. But at the end of the day, like I told myself like this is what I'm doing, so it's just like it's either you decide now to just go get some 9 to 5 job and hopefully it turns into some corporate thing and like, you know, you make solid money for your life, or you be a 33-year-old adult in the next 3 or 4 years before, you know, you're good times to like really use your brain and technological savviness and stuff goes away, like just go for it, you know. And that's why I just travel so much in Excel. It's like sometimes I don't make a ton. I might be scraping a little bit, but I'm always going to be at the event because I know at the end of the day, every event that I show up is just another opportunity for me to keep growing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
People are gonna see you zooming in your focus mode. They're gonna be like, oh shit, that's Brett. Whenever let's try to get a moment where he's not locked in. You know, let's go talk
yeah,
to him about like something. You know, maybe bounce an idea
yeah.
off or ask for some advice, something.
Yeah, my brain never stops. Like it doesn't matter what it is, my brain feels like it's always just moving. So I always have some creative thing in my mind or just thinking about even some camera setting at the event that I know is perfectly fine, but for some reason I'm just thinking about it because I think I might have touched the button or something, you know? So it's like I'm always thinking about something. So anyone can ask me anything they want the field unless you see me running around from field to field and just
Yeah.
wait till the break time. But
For me, it's hard. I have ADHD, so it's like sometimes I'm like, all right, let's get this interview. Oh shit, dude, butterfly. You know, and then I'm looking at
yeah.
I'm looking at a butterfly or something. You know, so
Yeah.
it's hard to lock in sometimes. And bro, seeing you lock in like that legitimately made an impact on me because I could tell just by looking at you. I was like, oh man, I'm not even gonna mess up his flow state at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and I think I've been around plenty of events now, so people kind of know when I'm in the zone. People know when I'm just kind of chilling there, you know, whatever. But like I said, it's not like it's anything bad. If someone sees me, stops me by, I'll still say hi. I'm not gonna be like, you know, that guy, but just understand if I say hi and run by you, I'll get back to you later. You
yeah,
know, that's all.
there are times when people try to stop me, be like, "Oh, what's up, Hatch?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm carrying a 200-pound ice chest full of paint.
Yeah,
Now is not the
it's always
time.
that time
You know?
when you're dragging it from the parking lot to the
Yep.
field you're gonna play at, and it's just
Yep.
like 10 miles away, and you're just like, all right, bro, I need to save all my energy
Yep.
for this cooler right now.
Talking would take
Uh,
up 1% of energy, and I got to use all
I mean,
100
if you
right
want to
now.
grab the other side with me and talk with me and walk to my pit, I
Oh
mean, go
yeah.
for it, bro. You
Oh
know,
yeah. That
and they'll be
is
like, oh no, I'm good. I'll catch you later, bro. So,
exactly. Be like, oh, you can carry this, bro. You want to help? Be like, oh, I'll talk to you later, bro. So,
I'll talk to you later, bro.
but okay. With some of that, and when it comes to like you said, it wasn't too bad if people stop you. What are your biggest pet peeves? Doesn't have to be player wise in paintball. It could be player wise. It could be media. What are your biggest
So I
pet
saw
peeves?
one. I actually saw one that was kind of funny the other day. I recorded a three. I mean, they call it three man, but it's WNXL three man or three whatever you want to call it. So
W3
I was
man.
basically
Okay.
yeah, W3. What you know? So I was filming that division at the end of
Three
Sunday
woman.
at NX.
Three
Three woman.
woman.
There you go. Right. I was filming them at the end of Sunday. And they ended up winning the WNXL three woman division.
Yep. Yep.
And
Congratulations.
and I didn't even realize half the time if I see like a good bunkering clip or something like that I know if I get back to the Airbnb on my tablet or something like I need to like get it out this weekend or tomorrow or
That's
edit
a
it for a
banger.
while. Like I try to remember, but like the little things and every little point don't always remember. So there was a point basically where I guess there was like another photographer that was hired by the team as well, or I think it was like their sister or their friend or something like that.
Hmm.
So she was like getting ready to take some pictures. And the one thing that I see refs do all the time that I used to not get upset about is when they put the FBS gun or the
Chrono.
gun, the chrono, yes, the chrono, like when we're walking on the field or something,
They pointed right
and
at
like
you.
stop me. Well, they like I'll be like walking on the field behind players and they just hold it and like it's like I'm actually in a
Oh,
chrono
you're
my
gonna chrono
camera,
your
right? Like being
camera.
funny, right? And like when I was a little bit like newer or something, like I kind of just had fun with it. And I was like, all right, like by the end of the day, by Sunday, sometimes they're doing, I'm like, all right, cool, bro. Like I'll give you your peace of mind. You're a referee standing here for 40 hours. Like I'll give you your one laugh for the day. But basically, I saw they posted the clip and one of the girls edited it, where like the other photographer was on the sideline, basically like getting checked. And then like and like she like made a whole reel about it, and like some of the comments that Mr. Chow Media,
Oh,
you know,
shout out
he
Mr.
Mr.
Chow.
Chow, yeah, he commented just like, I don't know about you guys, but the first couple of times it was funny, but now I'm kind of getting sick and tired of the refs always checking us at the crowd, and he just put laugh out loud. And I was like, to be honest, at first it was funny. Now it does get kind of a lot because sometimes like I'll have to go to the Dorito side. And if I'm not already on that side, I have like
You're quick.
25 seconds. So they're like, I'll usually let players, unless like I'm there at the net first, I'll usually let the team go first, no matter how
Courteous.
long it takes, and then I'll run after them or run behind them. But sometimes if I need to go film a Dorito side, if there's a Dorito player I'm only filming, I'm like, dude, get the hell out of my way because I
Yep.
have like 10 seconds to get to their side, turn around and film. So it's like it's kind of funny. It's not like something that really gets me like too upset, but it is kind of now being a little pet peeve, especially like when I'm in a hurry. Like if it's Sunday or whatever, and like everybody's chilling, everyone's already tired, it's one thing. When you catch me like on a Thursday, Friday at like 7:30 in the morning, bro, don't be checking my camera because I'm not gonna be too happy, dude.
Oh yeah. That
So
that is
that's
funny.
like, and okay, so I'd say a weird like I don't know if people have like mentioned it like really a lot in paintball at all. I don't know if players have ever mentioned it, but the one thing that's like kind of like a weird pet peeve or something that I have like a hard time is sometimes when I'm recording and the refs like on the other side of the field will like need to communicate, especially, sometimes in the NXL there's a lot of, just like people from all around the world and like not everyone's on the same, just like language, barrier and things
Hand
like that
signals,
and
you
just
know?
kind of
Yeah.
signals. So it's like sometimes they need the walkie talkies, but sometimes I've had where like I've been filming and it's kind of say like a 1v1 or a 1v2 and it's quiet and the rest on the other side of the field, don't want to do too many hand signals like give away, but like on the
Mm,
walkie talkie I've heard being like, all right, like keep an eye on like the Dorito guy or like, or they have code name bunkers sometimes, for different bunkers. So you're not
gotcha.
calling them. So say it. So like
Utah.
the Dorito 3 guy, like hears, like the other guy, like kind of getting called out by the other guy. So he just like, so like I've seen that happen a few times where like they use walkie talkies when they, in the moments to communicate when it's quiet and like the player is like
Players heard
picking
it.
up
Really?
either like it's there like letting them know like they called him out and letting him know like where his position are, or like sometimes like it might be like the other refs kind of like, hey, this guy's here, and like so like it kind of so like I've heard that a few times like on the walkie-talkie where like the players like heard in like a 1v1 either he's being called out or the other guy's being called out. So that's something that like I don't hear like all the time, but something that's kind of just like it's a little pet peeve, I
Yeah.
guess, because
We ref the
you know
sepals,
it's if
right?
I was a player, I'd be pissed if you know what I mean. Unless you
Told
were
them
the
where I
one
was.
telling me where the other guy's at, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, unless you're telling me he's in the back corner, okay, cool, bro. But if you call me out, like, but
That's valid because that's like a thing that we ref the CPL and we have genuinely had that conversation. And there are people that
oh
are
yeah,
like,
you guys
ah,
ref.
no
That's
way.
right. You guys do a
Multiple
lot of
times.
refing. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. I
They're like,
forgot.
ah, don't worry about it. There's no way they listen, bro. I said, are you retarded? Of course they listen. A fucking radio's blaring off right behind their back that it's a one-on-one, right? So I guess
Yeah.
that's why we try to have like that's one thing that we try to do a little bit different from the NXL at the CPL is we have a little bit more unique hand signals because we'll throw a hand signal out to where it's basically like, hey, for sure one-on-one, nobody say shit, but like slowly start closing in, right? To like get like all the best angles on this player, right? Because one thing that I've known for sure about reffing paintball, man-to-man coverage is not enough. It may work in basketball, but bro, that shit is not working
Yeah.
in paintball.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially when it's like when a guy's been practicing the dark arts for 40 fucking years in D4, you gotta triple team that guy. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I mean, Caden, what are some of your biggest pet peeves?
Like for paintball specifically.
Yeah, in general or paintball?
Uh, well, this can relate to paintball. I fucking hate people that are disorganized. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. But if you have like paint everywhere, food everywhere, like when we're at the Airbnb for the house, you remember this, Hatch.
Okay.
As soon as the girls came in with the groceries, I was the one to put it away.
Oh yeah,
'Cause they had everything scattered, and I took all the food, put it all in the pantry, had it lined up in sections where we had utilities, we had bread, we had like cans of beans.
It'll happen. It's important to keep the Airbnb organized, bro. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
It's funny how we just fall into like these roles when we get to that B&B. It's like the chefs are
especially
usually me and
when
Caden, you know?
Typically.
Yeah, especially when the media guy's one of the last one that seems to always leave the trip on Mondays. So I usually help try to clean up with the last player too. So if you leave that shit messy, bro, I'm the media guy, bro. I don't mind help cleaning up, but I'm not the
Yeah.
team and I'm using everything, bro. You guys better leave it at least decent so it's not that bad for me at the end.
Yeah. I mean, okay. One of my pet peeves, this one's not crazy, but I see it way in like very often in divisionals, is when people will like leave their paint in the sun.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh man, that one like actually irks the shit out of me. Where I'm
That's
like,
where it comes in having a good pod crew too, or people
Exactly.
who are knowledgeable in the pit, you know?
yeah, there was times where we went down to WC and I was talking to Brando and I was like, bro, should I tell these guys to get in the shade or like should I tell these guys to cover their paint up? Because it's like, and obviously you know, Brad, at SC Village, bro, that bitch was steaming hot. It was
Oh,
hot.
it gets cooking. Yeah, in
Bro.
the summer it'll get over 100 degrees, 105 easily
Yeah.
sometimes, you know?
And people, this team was just leaving their paint in the sun, and I'm just like, Brando, like I was like chomping at the bit to go tell them that's like, hey, get your fucking paint out of the sun. But Brando was like, nah, bro, let them learn their lesson. And I'm like,
Sometimes, you know, that's it. I mean, yeah, I would. It's like one of those things as a good person is like you want to like be a good person, you want them to have a chance to win, but at the same time, you're just like, I probably had to learn a time or two of no one telling me to put my paint in the
100%.
shade, and I've probably done that same thing, you know. So you got to learn the hard way.
yeah. But I'm trying to think of like other like pet peeves that like I cannot stand.
I would say okay, so an actual like pet. The other ones are just kind of things that like annoy me, I guess, a little bit. But like a pet peeve is not as much as from media people, but is was if you're like a ref and like I try to be friendly with all the refs because it's like sometimes the refs that like will be chill will like block me every once in a while if they know we're both in a jacked up lane. Like he might step in front of me and like I try to make friends with the refs so I can like get some advantages. But once the point started and you see me filming, shut up, bro. Like there's a couple refs and
Yeah.
a couple local events where like I'll be on a field and like I know a lot of the local events it's generally the same refs that do all of them. So like there's always like this one ref that just is like just doesn't matter if the
Yapping.
game's going on and he's supposed to be reffing or like talking to his friend. It's just like bro, and like he's like making these jokes and like dude, I've been out here for 7 hours in 100-degree weather. I don't give a fuck about your corny ass joke,
Yeah.
like that you're saying to me basically. Like it's like I know, and I'm not a dick, so I'm not gonna tell people to just be like, yo, like, but I'll be like, sometimes I'll be like, hey, bro, like if you see me filming, can you just like chill out till like the
Yeah.
point's over, because like that one, sometimes they'll just like go, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna walk down to the other side and just make sure I don't come back over here for a while. Like, that's probably like an actual pet peeve. It's just
Yeah.
like media people are pretty good because we're all like with the same understanding. Like, I think we all have this understanding. Like, we wouldn't want someone necessarily just walking in our shot and things. So like we all kind of do our best to like wait, or if like something's obviously not happening, or the videographer's filming a snake player, he's been there for 3 minutes, and it's like, cool, run by me real quick. But it's
Hmm.
like with the refs, it's just like, bro, some of them just have like no chill, no filter, just like, I get we're cool, bro, but like,
Hmm.
come on, like, have some respect for like what I'm doing. I'm trying to have as much respect for what you're doing. That's why with refs, I'll tell like sometimes some of the refs, you could tell them even they may be more green, or maybe they're just a good person or whatever. Like they'll like try to like they need to get kind of in a position, but like they'll see the videographer whatever there, and I can see on the corner eye like hedging, like,
They're
I
like
want to
trying to
go.
get where
I
you
need to
are.
go, but I don't want to go. And then finally, they'll either go and be like, hey, I gotta go, or I'll just see them and be like, just go, bro. Like, and then if
Yeah.
I see that happening, I'll usually always walk up to that ref and I'm like, hey, your job is to ref paintball. I'm here as behind you to film.
Yeah.
I said, I have no degree of changing, the outcome of this game. You do. So like, if you need to walk in front of me to get from this side of the door to this side to see the better player, do it, bro. I would feel so shit if like something happened, or like some player cheated, or something bad happened because like the ref was afraid to like walk in front of me. And to be honest, it only takes 1 second just to like step in front of me. It's not like you're
Yeah.
gonna like, ruin everything because you stepped in front of me. But I get them being nice. Like I appreciate it. And like that's when I go to those refs and be like, hey, you're cool. Like let's have a little conversation
Hmm.
so we're on the same page. But that's the only thing. Just a ref talking the whole time during points when I'm filming. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
On the topic of refs, has there been a specific call that you've seen them make that's really really pissed you off?
That's a good question.
I've seen there's probably been some calls that have kind of gone some of the teams that I really care about, like Out to Sickness, like where I think they've caught kind of the shit into the state. Okay, there was one that was kind of messed up, and it wasn't necessarily as much of like the call that like happened on the field. It was in between. Like the team, I've always got, I think they got a major or something, and there wasn't enough bodies to carry over.
Mm.
So we're at NXL. So there was like a language barrier basically between the ref and like the players. So nobody in all
Hmm.
knew what was really going on. And like that just so they were supposed to start with 3 players on the box from the penalty, right?
Your team was
Okay.
They
altitude
thought,
sickness.
or yeah, Altitude Signal was supposed to start 3 on the box because of the major, carries over or
Yep.
whatever. And then they end up going out of and like there was this whole exchange. It's like 3, 4 for like a minute between the point. Like nobody still knew what was the correct amount of players. So Altitude Signal ends up going on the field with 4 players. Right as the points getting ready to start, you just hear like one of the other coaches or
They
something
have
like from the
four.
opposite, because they were on the opposite teams, obviously box at that point.
Yeah.
So you just hear them like, "Hey, I thought they were supposed to start with 3. Like, what is this?" Boom, point happens. Burn. Refs realize what's going on. Immediately stop point. So they got killed for like some gross major that like I think we looked back and I don't remember exactly which gross. I think it was a gross, whatever. Like I think it was kind of a controversial. It could have been a flag, but maybe not like a gross, whatever it was. And then because of the mishap, they started with a player extra and immediately lost the next point.
Hmm.
Oh,
That was so you immediately like you lose the point with already made. You're already pissed. You're supposed to start. Then all of a sudden you don't even get to start the point even bodies down because
Yeah.
you go 1 extra and lose the points. You're now
Then you start
2-0
your next
already.
team, your next point, 2 bodies down. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so like that was like where there has to be a little bit better, it's I wouldn't say it's anything it's the refs, anything it's a team. There was just, some shit happened in the middle, but with something that detrimental, that was like something that really has to like be aware of or if I don't know, it's not like their refs are gonna yell like you have too many men on the field, but that's almost like something where like they should almost step in because it was a penalty point. Like I don't know, just like it was just a weird thing that happened, but that was one that was kind of a bunch of crap and it could have definitely been avoided.
That's a
for
that's a
sure.
hard one to call, especially because it's like,
Yeah,
I mean,
especially when you're playing in D2, you get a major, or I don't know if it's major or gross, but whatever. You get the red, then you immediately go to the next point, and then get a lose the point, and now you're down 2-0 in D2, like within the first 3 minutes of the match. Like
for
that just
sure.
That's
kills
detrimental.
all momentum, all vibe, everything.
It takes a really strong team to be like, all right, guys, we're down 0-2. Like, let's bring it back. Like, enough fucking around. I get it. Charity rounds. GG. I get it. Let's lock in. You know?
Yeah,
So, did they end up losing that match?
yeah, it's yeah. To be honest, in D2, they struggled a lot this year,
Okay.
Mm.
and in the World Cup, they went down to D3.
How'd they do?
They I they missed they missed the playoffs by it was like one of those where there was like three teams or something
Oh, like us.
that could be like on the bubble. They missed it, but in their bracket, because every bracket, at least in their division, was six teams, not normally like five or whatnot. So you obviously have to play through a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they ended up going two wins, one loss, and a tie, but both their wins were 4-0 mercied. So
They
generally,
had a
if
good
you go
point spread.
2-1-1 with two 4-0 mercies, you're gonna get it. But because I think there was that six team in there, and the way like they take less, like it's kind of almost like less teams, but like
Yeah.
more teams you're
Also depends
fighting
on
through,
who there's the
that
one
they
team that beat them.
basically missed like that 10th through like 12th or 13th or whatever, like couple wild card spots, because there was three teams, and the two teams that went ahead of them like did really well, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other teams that were wild card teams were also teams that did really well in the other bracket, but they went like three wins, no loss in a tie, or 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically are going to get the wild card spot because they didn't get first place in their division, but they're obviously better in the wild card. So they just missed.
Mm.
And then I think their D4 team, or I don't know if they did, yeah, their D4 team, I don't think made the playoffs.
Damn. I think the
But
past like two
it
events,
was
no joke, we've missed it by like 1 point. So feel
well,
that.
and that's where like you talk about kind of like the documenting and stuff, and that's like a good example of like you're like with them, where some people that like might not play a ton of events are just kind of getting the footage for that one in Excel event they're playing, just kind of for some memories, or whatever. But
Yeah.
like with them, they have a little bit of both for like the memories and nostalgia, but also like they learn, they're a high profile team of, a lot of good sponsors, a lot of money flows in and good organization. So, they take that shit, pretty seriously, but it was kind of rough, and I think looking back, when they look at footage like that, basically that they'll see like the transition from like how well they did in D3 to bumping up to D2,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of like where it went this year. So capturing all that, you talk about, like you said, telling stories and just learning and memories, and also, just like telling, just basically telling stories, and they'll learn from watching all the footage, basically.
Absolutely. I mean, that conversation where it's like, all right, guys, like we've kind of been getting fucked up. Like, let's go down. Let's go down. Re-get our footing.
It was a World Cup thing, I think, too, because there's going to be a lot more teams, and and it's just going to be a lot. And I think it was kind of one of those things. It's like we've kind of struggled all year. We might as well try to at least like salvage some sort of playoff spot, just to say we made, like the playoffs, and at least kind of start next year with like
some
some
momentum.
momentum, whether it's D3 or not. Because regardless, any division, I don't care if it's like D5, D6, it's always going to be a skill gap. But within those divisions, like you said, there's those dark horses in D4. There's like some players in like Dub C and NXL and stuff that have been playing D4 since they've been 20 to their 40. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like every division, yeah, you'll see the skill gap when you film all of them individually in a weekend, but it doesn't mean within like that skill gap doesn't mean that it's not very tough competition for what's on the field, I guess. So
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
there is no iron team. Paintball is one of those games where the marker is the greatest equalizer. A guy who
mm,
it's first time ever can shoot a guy that's been playing forever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it
I
is
mean,
possible.
it's sometimes it's one, like they say in paintball, it's sometimes better to be lucky than good, or lucky
Oh
than
yeah.
better. Like that, you talk about those penalty points and those things. Sometimes those penalties that suck, whatever, or either they go against you, or they actually help you potentially make the finals. And you could have almost been knocked out if you lost that point, but because some weird luck in a penalty, or you got away with something, that like it changes the whole tournament for you.
Yeah. It Paintball is such a unique sport in that aspect because it's like, I mean, the brackets and everything when it comes to like the head to head and the wild cards, like I'm trying to think of like another sport that kind of does like that exact kind of thing where it's like a point spread like that, you know?
I almost wonder if it'd be cool if it had like losers bracket.
I feel like that would be
Or you could, like,
sick if
combine.
there was losers bracket where it's like there's the team that gets the bye and they're playing the lesser team. If the lesser team loses, or some team loses, there's like a losers bracket and they still have a chance to like redeem themselves, but it's just gonna be like they have to play like 2 extra matches, and playing 2 extra matches in the losers bracket,
it would.
that's a lot of energy.
I think for paintball wise, like, one, it's energy. Two, that you would go broke even more than you probably
That's
already
valid.
do. Like,
That's
you
completely
know?
true. That's a lot
Because
of
like
pain.
I used to love that, playing baseball and basketball, travel balls and stuff, and you get to some of those tournaments and it like sucks to lose the first game because you have an insane uphill battle just to even like try to get to the finals, but at least you're like not out. But it's a little different when you're playing baseball and basketball and not shooting paint that costs $1 million by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, literally.
So.
It's not like you're throwing your basketball in the garbage at the end of each
every
point.
time you play.
You know, after every 3-pointer, you're throwing the ball in the garbage, and then you're getting a brand new one.
Yeah.
You know, like that's kind of like basically what paintball is in a way, but way worse. But okay, so you know what, Caden, I'm gonna steal one of your questions. I like this one question.
All right.
So, goofy by nature, where did that come from? Like, is that like from when you were a kid? Is that like your gamer tag? Tell us.
So it actually, what's kind of weird is, so when I despise TikTok, it's the one platform that I've like tried to post some paintball stuff on, but I just feel like just posting a video on there just got sucked me in for 3 hours, and like I didn't feel useful at all.
Yeah.
Or at least when I get to the algorithm of Instagram and YouTube and stuff, I feel like I get more relatable stuff that I want to watch.
Yeah.
But anyways, I made a TikTok when it was kind of like newer or a couple months old, and I don't know, for whatever reason, like it has meaning, but like that was kind of the name that like I came up with. And like there's like when I've been younger, a lot of people called me like Bigfoot because I wear like a size 14, 15 shoe.
Holy shit.
So a lot of people were calling me Bigfoot, right? So like normally that would be like a term that like I would gravitate if I was making a username. But for some reason, I kind of just thought about it, and it's like one of those things where it's like 10:30 at night and you're just sitting there for like an hour and a half and you're like, this username's got to be it, you know?
Yeah.
And that was just kind of the one that just kind of came together. But it does, I mean, I do, but it does have like some meaning actually behind it, even if it's just a simple like username. I do like nature, and I do take, I don't do like a lot of crazy workouts and stuff like that, but every day I like at least take a walk around the neighborhood and, go do stuff like that. So I am connected by nature, and I'd say even if like it might not see the fullness on like the paintball field, I am kind of just charismatic, funny, kind of goofy dude. And
Amen.
like, I can get serious. I can get serious at times, but like I think goofy is like the type of word where it's kind of just you're not just like funny, you're kind of just sometimes say that random shit that just like, or that creative mind, like that creative idea, and your friends are just like, bro, like don't ever bring that up again, you know, just like that kind of goofy stuff, like, so that's kind of where it started. But yeah, it's kind of just basically goofy by nature. And if you really want to go even deeper, like was born goofy by nature,
Yeah.
and that's like the literal, meaning. But like I said, when I thought about it, it obviously had some kind of meaning. Obviously, those words connected together for a reason, but it wasn't like as deep, until now, where it's kind of transpired to this, and it's kind of taken on its whole bigger meaning now than when it was just a username on TikTok. But that's basically where it started.
Yeah, because now people know you by that. People know you by this TikTok username that you made at fucking 2 a.m., on the platform that you didn't want.
It's it's interesting because it's paintball, and I think paintball culture, from playing a lot of sports, it is almost more like brotherly than a lot of sports.
For sure.
And maybe because of like the way that it's organized, and it's not like you're going to school in high school and like playing things, or in like, stuff like that, where it's a little bit more structured on like that level, where it's just like it's structured in its own nature, but like you really have to like love and be passionate about how much money we spend and shoot money, in the ground and things like that. So I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second.
No, I feel that.
I kind of lost my train of thought.
No dad is like, you have to play paintball. You have to go to paintball practice, Junior. I've never heard somebody ever like that. But dude, how often do you hear that with like baseball, like with like little league kids? They're like, you have to go to practice today, right? Nobody, like, paintball is so different where everybody in paintball, that is one of the common denominators with everybody at the field, is everybody is choosing to be there. Nobody's like, I have to be at paintball this week. Like, nobody is like that.
Well, because the amount of money, that we probably spent and or lost or not won in the event is astronomical probably to our, our basic, human needs. So at the
Yup.
end of the day, I always tell people like you're always going to try to win, and you're not never going to, I mean, if you're a competitive player, you're not going to go into an event knowing like that you're just going to sit there and just not do anything. But there's also a realistic aspect of playing sports and being a competitive person, like, losing is, almost 90% of it. You're going
Yes.
to lose 9 times out of 10 for you win, so when you look at it that way, you're always going to strive to win, but you just have to know that like you're doing that, there's a bigger picture of doing it for the love and the passion, and not as much as like, winnings, the cherry on top when you're with your
Yeah.
boys, but the moments at the Airbnb and all the stuff, and going out to dinners, or whatever, and just chilling at the pool and stuff, like that's where, paintball's at. And there's nothing like it. There's no other sport that I've been a part of that's like that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that it's a lot different because, oh man, dude, you got me, bro. Now I just lost my train of thought. Caden, carry take
Oh,
it
I
away.
remember what I
No,
was gonna say.
uh,
I do remember what I was going with that when you was talking to finish that one part. When you were talking about people like saying, goofy at the field and stuff like that. I was basically saying like we're all kind of humble human beings, and like I don't want to be looked at as like some crazy videographer or celebrity or anything, because that's not like what I'm here,
Mm,
and I don't need like the recognition. But it is interesting because like I've thought about this like a couple of times. It always pops to my mind that like people always ask me like that, like want to be more connected, like what should I like basically call you? I'm like, well, I mean, on a human level, I'm gonna tell you my name's Brett and shake your hand, right? But you're probably gonna remember Goofy. So when
mm,
I think about it, the amount of times I just like walk around a field, whether it's people that I know for 15 years or people I've never met, and people especially that don't know my name, it's just
mm.
like Goofy. It's like it's like this like staple name that's just
Yeah.
like it's kind of weird, I stay like I have that, but I mean I do like NXL wherever I just walk around, hey Goofy, Goofy, even my good friends, Pup, and like all my really good
Yeah.
friends are like, hey, have you ever met my boy Goofy? And it's just like, bro, like we're like that, bro. Like I thought we're that homies. You could say my name and introduce
Yeah.
me as Brett, but I get it, and I accept it. I just tell them, hey, you'll probably remember Goofy more than you're gonna remember my name. So just as
Yes.
long as you can remember that
yeah.
and at least put two to two together that I'm that person, so when you see my content, that's the guy you met, then we're all good.
Yeah. Like that. Beside, okay, like Brett, there are multiple Bretts, but
Yeah,
there's like besides you, there's one other Goofy, and that guy's at
yeah,
Disneyland. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
you know,
Well, and I think that's like the one thing when I kind of made my name too, is by now how much like social media and video games and everything, that like a lot of like usernames without numbers or like stupid hashtags or periods and stuff are like taken, right? Like your basic standard, like names are already been gone. So
XX trick shot XX.
once I typed in Goofy by Nature on TikTok and it said like green check mark, I was like,
Oh,
sick, we're
let's
solid, no
go.
numbers, anything.
Nice.
Lock that in, bro. And then like YouTube, the same thing. Instagram, somebody does have that hashtag though, because I had to put a dash or like a line underscore or something at the very end. So I need
Mm,
to find out who that is when I get
Ooh.
bigger. And even
pay
if,
him
and the
off.
account has like no followers, whatever. So I probably never get in contact. It's just an account that's in the abyss. So
It's
I'm gonna
probably
have to
like
hit up
some dude
Instagram
that's
one
in
day.
India that like has like no fucking
Yeah,
idea what's
I
going
know.
on.
I'm gonna have to hit up Instagram when it's like, yo, can I get the hashtag or the tag officially without the underscore at the end? This guy's been active for like 5 years. Come on, man.
Yeah.
But
Be like, oh well, I'm trying to get verified, so like I am the real Goofy by nature.
yeah,
So, but it wouldn't make
yeah. So
sense
like
for me to be Goofy underscore. You know?
literally any account I use, any video game, Fortnite, Madden Mobile, doesn't matter what it is, Goofy by Nature always seems to work.
Yeah.
So just screw it, just keep going with it. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you're not even getting stopped, and
yeah,
that's a unique gamer tag.
yeah, definitely.
Like I mean, I've had the same
Definitely.
gamer tag since I was 10. My gamer tag online is half pint killer, right? And that was
Okay.
when I was young and I was like in 5th grade and I was the shortest kid in my class, right? Like that was like an insult back in the day, half pint, little kid, and I was like, I wanted to be a killer, but I was like, whoa, 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 hard R, bro, chill, get me away from that. I need the A on the end of that, right? So I'm half pint killer,
Well,
So
I remember
I
mine
mean,
changed when I went from Xbox to my computer now,
ooh,
because it was originally I went by my dad's username, which was Major Stingray, and
that's pretty sick
now
actually.
it's Oasis,
yeah,
and that's just been my PC
okay,
gamer tag that's stuck with me.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so Brett,
I
you told us you were a gamer, bro. Dude,
yeah,
what
I
what's
I
your
would
poison?
say Not as much anymore when I got a lot of in videography and stuff, but there was a while for a time that I streamed MLB The Show on console for like 4 or 5 years on Twitch. I
Okay.
love baseball,
Hell
and
yeah.
not a lot of people can like play that type of game except kind of like paintball. As far as baseball community, it's one of the smaller community sports games, but I enjoyed it because everyone just talked and there's people love the game. So I stream sports games. So ever since I've been a little kid, I still have a Nintendo 64. And there's certain games that people would probably like to have in the collection that I don't have, but you want any sports game, I got it all in N64. So
Really?
since I've been
Hell
a little
yeah.
kid, I've basically just been a pretty big like sports person. So anything like sports I play a lot. Like right now, I'm hooked on Madden Mobile. I don't think I'm good enough to play like actual Madden. That game just like pisses me out because I don't know that like much about football scheming. I love football, but I've never played like organized football, so I'm not like the most inclined on like defense and all that, but Madden
Uh-huh.
Mobile is a little more simpler. And there's a community in Discord and Reddit and stuff, so it's just fun to just like have something to kind of kill time. That's like I'm not going to necessarily consume 8 hours in a row just playing Madden on my console. Where that game I
Uh-huh.
can play for a couple hours, put it down, and things. But I got into Overwatch for a while. My friend got me into Overwatch. I enjoyed playing Overwatch, even though
Okay.
it's a little older game. I never thought I'd like it, but it just I don't know, just fast paced. You keep dying, you can come back, whatever. But I got pretty good at it, for the most part.
Yeah.
I liked Fortnite, but I prefer Fortnite no builds.
Amen.
I got used decent at Fortnite
W.
building, but like not anything like my friends did. And then when the no build came out, I was just like, all right, if I ever play Fortnite, that's my game,
Oh
man.
yeah, dude. That
So,
sliding
And
around
the
double
kids
knee.
now.
hmm
The kids now
yeah,
are
the kids,
way
yeah,
bigger
dude,
in it.
I've seen some of these clips, these kids that are like 13, 14 that like do circles around pros, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this shit is insane,
I
bro. Like,
remember the when Fortnite like first came out and like the John Wick skin was like a thing.
hmm
Do you guys? I remember there was like
I
this
had that
meme that
skin.
was like, I have that skin as well. I'm OG. I remember the meme where it's like whenever you see a John Wick, it's like you shoot a John Wick once and he fucking builds twin towers around you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I played Fortnite since the first battle pass or season pass,
oh
whatever,
hell
and then I
yeah. So,
stopped about like season 5 or 6.
OG.
I've the last 5 years, I've like 4 years, I've dabbled it here and there with my buddies, but like I
same
used to
here.
like play, every day when there was build, and now I wish there was no build back in the day because then maybe I
Yes.
would have
So good.
became a Fortnite pro
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys
without
kept up
building.
with it? There's like
I
multiverse
haven't.
now.
There's
Like
what?
The one
they're
thing that
dabbling in the multiverse. The Fortnite multiverse.
Oh, that's wild. I was mad I didn't play the Simpsons event. When the Simpsons event came out, I said, "Oh, I need to play the Simpsons map," and then I just never play Fortnite with anybody.
Honestly, I saw Master Chief went out. I immediately went on, grabbed V Bucks, bought Master Chief, logged off, and I'm like, well, when I do play, he's gonna be there, you know.
Yeah.
But dude,
Yeah, I don't game too much as much anymore. Like I said, I've been playing Madden Mobile Locks. It's something like when I'm like organizing clips or rendering videos or something, I can kind of jump on my iPad and just kind of like grind it out and
hmm,
kind of do things. But a lot of sports games. If I had to play games, it's more sports and like shooters and stuff. I don't play Call of Duty anymore.
favorite game of all time, the one. You know, what, I'll take
Favorite
two.
game of all time?
I'll take two. Favorite game of all time. You can
So
even look
like
at it like nostalgia, rose tinted glasses, whatever.
going back, I'd have to say one of my favorite games was NFL Blitz on
Dude,
Nintendo
that was
64.
like the one where you could like get their
I
feet
still
on fire, right? You could like
you
do
can
like the
yeah
crazy shit.
I still have it on Nintendo 64.
Wow.
And I mean, I think a lot of people play paintball, but I did actually like the Greg Hastings Max Paintball too because when they had online in the community, I remember like coming home from school and shit and actually like playing like online, like 4v4s, 5v5s, like before like all this PC stuff and like there was
Wow.
community people would build custom X-ball maps and stuff. But that's just like being paintball. But honestly, the other game that I do would say because I had a GameCube before Xbox or PlayStation or anything, we got the cheaper console, but
Hmm.
it was still fun. But
Yeah.
that's when GameCube and Nintendo would actually release a lot of EA Sports games and a lot more games than they do now as far as the off genres. But I'd say MLB Slugfest has got to be up
Oh,
there.
I
One of my
love that
favorite
one.
sports games, dude. Yeah, that's got to be one of my more favorite, at least nostalgic games. Like I said, anything with sports, like all the like my favorite genre, like NBA Street, like NFL Street, like Slugfest, like the kind of off caveats of like the realistic stuff, but like
Yeah.
that stuff used to just go hard because when there was no online play those were just the best games just to sit with someone in your living room and just
Yes.
grind out sports games and just play. Like so.
And I feel like the
What
thing is
about
with
you?
like Madden. Okay, for me, this one's easy for
Everyone
me.
knows this one.
Yeah, favorite game for me, Resident Evil 4, like without a doubt.
Okay.
Like that one was like when it got remastered, dude. I took a day off from work till I downloaded the night before.
Yeah.
I'm waking up early, waking up before I'm supposed to wake up, where I would be going to
Yeah.
work, and I'm playing that game. You know, oh,
Okay.
dude,
Okay.
it's so good, so good. Like
Okay.
protecting like going to this place in Spain, just annihilating this village to find the president's daughter, bro. That, and plus Leon, I ain't gay. But bro, if I was, Leon is a fucking stud, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, dude. You ever see that guy do a backflip out of nowhere, dude? God damn, you know. But what about you, Caden? Favorite game of all time? Of all time.
Mine is definitely based on nostalgia, but my favorite one of all time is Super Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
That one is
Okay.
heavily nostalgia. There's great music with it.
Without nostalgia.
Without nostalgia.
Let me guess. Minecraft.
No, that one is nostalgia. That one's nostalgia.
That
That
is
one
the
is
style.
nostalgia.
That game's been around
Yeah,
forever.
dude,
now.
bro. I remember when Jungles came out, man, in Minecraft. That was a big update. You know.
That was not nostalgia. Fun. It's gonna be Mario Sluggers. That one was really fun
bro,
to me.
yeah. Mario
I
Sluggers.
loved Mario growing up. And that's just
Yeah,
the sports
Mario
aspect.
Sluggers is actually dope.
I've never heard of that. Can you guys like describe that to me? I've never heard of
Mario
it.
Baseball.
Mario,
Mario
Baseball? I think I have played that.
Even the other one, the soccer one, Mario Strikers or whatever it's called.
Mario Strikers.
Mario Strikers is dope. Yeah, those Mario sports
I
games
also
are
grew
pretty
up
hard.
playing baseball, so that one was
Yeah,
definitely cool for me.
And Mario Tennis. I'm a huge fan of Mario Tennis, bro. That game goes hard.
I remember like my favorite baseball game. I'm not a sports gamer guy, but I remember playing the Bigs and the Bigs 2.
Okay.
That game was like,
yeah, those were dope.
That was awesome. I remember, I don't know if he's still playing. Pretty sure he's retired, but if he is still playing, that's freaking badass. But David Ortiz from the Red Sox.
Yeah, he's retired. Yeah, he's been retired for a minute.
Yeah, I remember watching. That was like the only time I'd ever even give a shit about baseball was with the Red Sox. I don't got a dad to watch it with, so I'm just like, all right, watch the Red Sox. I'm like talking into my on demand. I'm like Red Sox, and then it puts the game on.
Yeah.
So man, dude. Sports games.
I would say the non-sports game I would have to say is the first Black Ops.
Black Ops 1.
Yeah, out of any Call of Duty, I actually didn't cheat to prestige or all that shit that happened in Modern Warfare 2 with the lobbies or whatever. I actually played Black Ops 1 all the way to every prestige and everything, and I would just sit there and just after school or before school or days off, whatever too, I would just sit there and play Search and Destroy. Like I hated Team Deathmatch.
I love Search.
I just love Search and Destroy for the intensity, especially when you get shot, you could eat some food or do something in between, or
yes.
Hatch, do you have a favorite Black Ops?
I do actually. I mean, fuck, all the Black Ops are really good. This one, Black Ops 3, if I'm being honest. That's just because
we're all different.
The only reason why Black Ops 3 is mine is because that came out my senior year of high school. So it's like I'm not really having to worry about it came out right after I graduated. So where I'm in this intermittent period before the next semester starts. So I'm just grinding Call of Duty all the fucking time. And the zombies on that one, bro, so good. Campaign, ass.
Mine was Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2 was great.
I played that game a little bit.
I love Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and Black Ops 3. Black Ops 2, though, that game was sick because it was by today's standards, hella realistic.
One was fun too because it
always drones,
taking a DSR and then jumping out a window, just straight out of it.
Oh yeah.
And wasn't Black Ops 2 where FaZe was starting to become popular with?
I would probably say FaZe was really getting popular and I guess Black Ops 2 is when they really started popping. That was when FaZe House New York was going on. Damn, dude. Brett, you ever keep up with the esports or anything like that?
There was a moment I was because I sometimes get heavily into sports betting and shit.
Amen.
So I was kind of betting on CS2, CS:GO or CS2, whatever you want to say, for a while.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was doing until I started getting so into it that I found myself waking up at 2 in the morning to watch the matches, and I had no idea what was going on. I had an idea what was going on, but I've never really played like CS:GO growing up. Like I never felt like until now like I had like the best like home computers to
Yeah.
like run those games and stuff. So I
Hmm.
never really played like those type of shooters because I mean on older PCs, those games were like the whole computer. It like
Yeah.
would use up everything.
Hmm.
So, I started watching like CS:GO and kind of betting and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
it was interesting.
I remember Ryan would have to wake up at like 4 a.m. to watch these League of Legend games that were in like Korea or some
Yeah,
shit.
my brother literally never. My brother is a 6-year Air Force veteran, so he's been out of the Air Force for like a couple years now,
Hmm.
and that's what he kind of just has always been a gamer, but he kind of just got stuck in that loop of just like doing his job and just going home and like gaming and stuff. So he's like a really intense gamer, but he's that way. Like he'll like wakes up at like 1 in the afternoon and then like doesn't go to bed. It's like 6 in the morning and he's like
Mm.
going there. He's just like watching like these streamers of like League of Legends and like
Mm.
Asia and stuff. And it's like, what are you watching, bro? It's like it's just crazy. I have no idea anything about League of Legends, any of that.
Yeah,
I
that's a
just
tough
like
game to
I'm like
watch.
this fool's up at 5 in the morning watching League of Legends finals matches and stuff. And he's not even betting or anything. I was like, damn, bro, okay.
Dedicated to the
So,
craft, you know?
like, well, because he's like, he's like over there playing a ranked match, and then he's like, oh shit, and then he's
He's
just
like, dude,
playing a
Cloud9's
ranked
playing
match.
right
So it's
now.
like, yeah, yeah. It's like, but yeah, I stayed up a little bit when I started CS2. I started learning some about the teams and organizations, but as far as like the whole esports thing, I don't really like follow intensely
Hmm.
a
Okay.
crazy amount.
I kind of dabble in like Valorant.
Okay,
As
yeah, my
much as I
brother played
hate
that game a
Valorant,
lot.
like as much as I hate Valorant, I love it. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Uh, I can only play on my main by myself because all of my friends suck. I have to jump on a Smurf named Lower Back Fat that is notorious in bronze for being a fucking Smurf. And it is so funny when I'm just dropping fucking 40, 50 kills and my girlfriend is like 0 and 14. You know?
It's funny. You sound like my brother. My brother is like to the point where like he's actually really good at games. So he's played a lot, but he's like not like dedicated or like maybe not that top tier to like try to push it as far as like
Being a
a
professional.
profession, as like gaming. But it's funny because like sometimes I'll just see him chilling and I'm just like, "You're not playing any games today?" And it's just like, "Nah, bro. My friends suck." And it's not fun playing with them anymore. And then he started making like a YouTube channel, and like he grew up to like 500 subscribers, mostly doing shorts and League of Legends stuff. And like I noticed like, and I keep tracks of my brother, and like I was noticed a month he didn't post a video, and I was just like, so what happened? He's just like, well, he says I can never record videos because every time we go to play, my friends are just complete jackasses and just like,
I
and he's
feel
like.
that, bro.
They're not. He's like they're not funny. Like he's like it's one thing to be pissed off and funny and have a good time. He's like they're so intense and serious that everyone's cheating, everyone's hacking, or why didn't you do this spell? And he's like, I
Oh
couldn't record any
God.
videos anymore because everyone's just competitively raging and not funny raging. He's like, my friends sometimes playing games won't have filters. You just hear F this, F that, blah blah. He's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's like, yeah. See, it's like sometimes it's not fun to play with my friends, especially the ones that actually aren't that good, because then I just hear my brother sometimes. Like I know when he's in an intense game because I'll just be editing, and then I just hear someone yell, and I just hear F this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, he's
Mm.
playing with one of his shitty friends
Yep.
again. Like,
Yep.
it's hilarious.
That
It's
is
kind of
fucking
funny.
funny. Like,
I feel like every group has to have one of those people that just
Yeah.
aren't good at all.
oh yeah,
Well, that's why I don't play FPS games a lot, because I feel like I was that person. So I just decided not to play them anymore and be the fucking baggage.
you know,
That's me. That's me
Yeah.
at Valorant.
that's when I'm like, all right, boys, let's play some unranked. Let's chill out a little bit. Let's chill
Yeah.
out. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I've video games is just one of those things that I was like raised on.
Mhm.
I just like grew up with video
Yeah.
games all the time. Like, I remember getting my I should realistically save this story, but I remember getting my Xbox 360 for Christmas for the very first time. Dude, I'll tell that story when we're just like, getting a little closer to Christmas. But man, like, there was just such an upgrade from a PlayStation 2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm playing
Yeah.
Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, and now I'm playing Gears of War. I'm playing the
Yeah.
real shit. So, I mean,
That's why I feel when we got, like I said, we like my family's been decent with like money and stuff, but it's like we live in Southern California and like no matter what in life, whether it's inflation or not, everything's always been expensive. So like we've gotten, like games and current stuff, but it's like when GameCube, PlayStation, Xbox came out, like we got like the GameCube,
mhm.
obviously, like which I'm not gonna talk shit. My family
Yeah.
did what they needed to, and we had a great time, and we used the shit out of GameCube, and I still have it till this day.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
can't talk shit on it. But then like the moment that like I like got like my first Xbox 360 like when this thing started upgrading more and like those came out, and I was like, damn, bro, like this is like more like console gaming because I'm used to
Yes.
just like GameCube and Nintendo, where even EA Sports games probably don't look as amazing on GameCube compared to like Xbox and PlayStation did, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So it was definitely like, wow. This is and then when I finally decided and got into streaming, it's like I need a PC to stream and stuff, and I got a PC, and I was never interested in really like playing PC gaming. And the first time I started playing Fortnite on my PC, I was just like, it may suck, but this shit is awesome. I'm never going back to playing console again, no matter how bad I am.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna learn. I'm gonna learn PC and stuff, and just put the console side. Unless I have to play maybe the show, which is only on console. But
Yeah. Okay.
other than that,
One last gaming question I got for you, and Caden, you definitely
okay.
know you know how this is gonna be with you. What are your odds? What are I can't even fucking talk. Have you ever heard of a game called Elden Ring?
Yes, I have.
What are your
I've
thoughts on
heard.
it?
I
What have you
couldn't
heard
tell
of
you
it?
because I have no idea what it's about.
Okay. Imagine,
Feel like I should know, but I don't.
dude, it is one of the
Fresh
greatest
meat.
games of all time. Like, if this is like interchangeable in my top three. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is like at the top, like that ain't budging, but it is like, if Resident Evil 4 didn't exist, it's up there. You know, it is a game where they tell you nothing and they put you in this open world, and everything will kill you, and you just have to learn and adapt, and basically come up with sometimes cheeky tactics on how to beat a boss, and do the cinematography to it, bro. I mean,
I heard
bro,
it's a really good game. I just
yeah,
have never played it or never really looked into it. But that's because that's not as much of a game that like I generally gravitate to. But
yeah,
if a game like that catches my eye, that's more of an open world or whatnot. That's like I'm like interested in the genre. Like I'll definitely give it a try. I just know sometimes those games take a lot of investment to like really
yep.
play. So it's like if you're
Yeah.
gonna play a game like that, you gotta be ready to play.
Yeah. You know, I guess one thing I do like about it is when you press quit, the next time you load it up, you'll be standing exactly where your character was standing. You know, so it's like very
Yeah, that's
savable. You know,
dope.
it's not like one where in Resident Evil 4, I would kill a bunch of bad guys and then I die. Fuck, I'm all the way back 2 chapters with the typewriter. You know? Because I was hardcore. I wasn't oh, fuck me. Did my internet just die?
I was saying,
Oh,
I don't know if
oh.
that's me, but
No, we're good. We're
I
good. We're
know.
good. We're back. We're
I
back. We're
just
back.
didn't move and I froze myself just to make sure I was not
Dude,
the only one.
bro, okay.
I
Okay. Internet dipped
just
for a
wanted to be
second.
all sync.
We're
You're
okay.
good.
I don't even know what I was saying. What happened? What are we talking
Elden
about?
Ring.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
How did I forget? Dude, if you're ever interested, brother, dude, me and Caden will take you on a wild ride if you're ever interested.
Okay.
So I'm just wanting to
You want to
extend
hear
that
a,
invite out, but you know,
I'll tell you one. I don't know if you guys have Nintendo Switches or anything,
my girlfriend does. So yeah, I do.
but
I
there's
can
a
mention
game
Zelda.
on there. I mean, it sounds bad when I'm going to say it, but there's a game on there that I got hooked when I was playing with my girlfriend. That was actually amazing. I don't know if you ever heard of the game called Cult of the Lamb.
Cult of the Lamb?
Bro, it's dude, look it up.
What?
It's like kind of like little
Caden,
like
drop the
not like
link.
Avatar people, but like little like animal like characters and stuff like that. But basically, that's the objective is like you build a cult, and then it's like you build stuff up like refinery wood whatever. You can send people like
Yes.
send your characters to like go do
Oh,
stuff, and you just basically build a cult, and like and there's days in it that's like short. So then every day you can like go to the worship temple, worship, do sacrifice, and then like you eventually go build beat
sacrifices.
stages and get the box. But like so if you want like a mindless game that can get hours, and it's like you just like with girlfriend or a friend, like that game will get you kind of hooked. It's like
Dude, this is a
it's
game
actually it's because
my girlfriend
it's
would
fun
play.
with your friends because it's like it sounds bad when you say it, but like it's so like that game where it's like mindless cartoony creatures, but like it gets kind of like deep sometimes for how like invested you get in building a cult. So not that I'm putting that type of stuff out there, it's just a game,
No,
but
no,
like
no.
it's actually it's a pretty
It looks
I
cool.
like it. This looks
mindless
sick.
fun game. It's pretty dope. It's and what's crazy is when we first started playing, we kind of like didn't rush into, but we didn't really know like the whole how deep it was, and then we kind of like restarted and like started doing it again. Dude, the game for looking like how it just looks like a little kind of small character game. It's like there's a lot that
There's some
goes to it.
lore.
So if you ever need something, there's some lore, yeah, lore and like people getting old and like they just
Oh,
die and you gotta bury
what?
people
No.
and then if you eat and if you don't, and if you like wrap somebody's body up and bury them, you have to like go build burials. If not, you can like use their body, like basically like eat them for like resources, but if you like eat them next to some of your worshippers or your people in your cult, sometimes they'll get pissed off that like you're eating people that died. So like they actually like take on like personality traits of like based on what you do and shit in the game too.
Wow.
So anyways, that was just a little side thing, but it's pretty deep and it's only like a $15 game, but it's
Yeah.
something like you could sit like a co-op couch thing or whatever and just like play for a long time.
That reminds
So.
me of this one game called Schedule One. I don't know if have you ever heard of this game
Oh,
called
I think
Schedule
I
One?
think I've heard of it.
That game's pretty recent. I'd probably say like within the last like 2 years for sure. Basically, drug dealer simulator.
Don't starve together.
Don't starve
You know that
together.
one? Yeah, have you heard of that one?
I've never. I think I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever
I've
played
never
it.
heard of that game.
It's not cult related, but it's like you same cartoonish characters type, and you survive like the darkness and monsters
Yeah.
and
And I
things like
love that type of game like that because it looks so like cartoonish and kid-like, but then like when you start like reading the stuff and like how deep it gets, you're like, damn, this is like one of those like kind of jacked up games where like it's
Yeah.
fun, but like it's dark for being a fun little animal character
Yeah.
game.
the iceberg, where it's just the iceberg goes all the way under the water.
Yeah.
Like Minecraft, where it's like sure you're building flower huts, but then you go into the Nether, bro. Welcome to hell, buddy. You know.
Yeah.
You know. But okay, one question I got for both you guys. Ready? Okay, ready for this one? This is definitely a second half podcast type of question, so brace yourself. If you could own any animal in the ocean, but it's the size of a goldfish, what would it be? The size of a goldfish. You can have it in, and you can have it in, you know, a little tank. You know, it's not going to be crazy. I wouldn't be like aggressive towards you, so you can get anything. Anything. Ocean creature, you know.
Trying to like think of like what's like the smallest ravaged creature in like the thing, but I don't know if there's anything that's that small that's like that killer.
No, like it can be a great white shark, but this is a made up question. There's a wizard.
So it could
There's
be
a wizard that is like bibbity bobbity goofy, and he fucking gives you
I
a
thought we were
goldfish
thinking of
sized
small
shark.
little like okay.
No, anything.
Uh,
And it's just
I want a mini hammerhead shark.
that'd be pretty sick.
ooh, that's a pretty good
Swimming
one.
around.
Pretty sick. I feel like
I'm pretty sure I've seen one that's actually super small like that before.
I feel like a
pretty sure it's a
narwhal
real
would be
thing.
pretty sick. Basically like the unicorn of the ocean. You know? Greenland shark. Pretty sure those live up to like 400 fucking years.
Like, I want a megalodon. That's a goldfish size.
That's a valid one. I mean, at that point, it'd just be a shark. Great white shark that's just hella small.
Piranha.
Bro, piranhas are vicious, dude. I had a friend.
that's
I had a friend who
interesting.
had piranhas.
That's an interesting question. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I just have to go with some kind of similar like a dolphin. For some reason, I just feel like this smart ass like little tiny dolphin
You
can
can
be just
communicate.
jacking with some shit, communicating, just going into a shark's eye and just like pecking his eye a million times, and the shark would never know. It's just like a little tiny dolphin.
Oh, or like a
I
killer
don't know,
whale.
because dolphins could be vicious. Dolphins can be vicious.
Yeah, they can, dude.
So a vicious little dolphin.
I'm pretty
Looks
sure.
cute, but it just tear you up.
I feel like I don't know if I heard this on a podcast. This is gonna sound crazy. I don't think dolphins, or I'm pretty sure dolphins have like these huge like, fucking. How do I say this without sounding so horrible? Gangbangs of like the one single female, and they're just like going at her, you know. And she's like, "Oh, I'm trying to get out of here," and they're like, "Nah, bitch, you're here with us now. It's big ocean, you know." And dolphins
You
are
heard that or
savage,
you
bro.
researched that.
I heard it on a podcast. It was a
I
nature
was like,
it was a nature
you
podcast.
just gonna say he wasn't. He was at 12 in the morning doing like a 2-hour research on dolphin
Yeah.
gangbangs.
Or dude, they use.
What are we gonna talk about on this podcast tomorrow? Oh, this
Yeah.
is perfect.
I did not think the goldfish question was gonna turn into this, but dude, they use pufferfish. Dolphins will use pufferfish to get high. They'll like squeeze the
Yeah, 'cause
pufferfish to
they
where it
have
like
poison and
excretes
stuff,
this
yeah.
thing and this poison to where they're basically tripping balls in the ocean.
Damn, bro, dolphins just like us then.
You know, just tripping balls, having a good time. You know. But I mean, a dolphin would be sick. Killer
Yeah.
whale would be sick. Like,
That was an interesting question.
yeah,
Interesting.
definitely a part two. You know what? This is gonna be one of those questions, brother, where you're like thinking about it at like really late at night. You're gonna be editing. You're like, oh, dude, look, that one, and then you're gonna like text me and be like, oh, dude, the fucking Guadalajara shark. you know, something, you know, something specific. It's one of those. I remember.
I was gonna say, did you see in that paintball reel that little dolphin I put in there?
Oh, okay,
That was
okay. I
there.
like that. I remember.
You just randomly just a dolphin across the paintball screen or something.
Dude, let me tell you, if that edit comes out, oh man, that's gonna be hype.
Yeah,
But I remember asking Colt Lacow, like I remember asking him like a bloodlusted question about like I don't know what it was. I think he was called like a macaque or something like that, some kind of monkey. And every time I find like a crazy video of like a insanely looking animal, I text it to Colt and I'm like, fit beating this? You know, be like a crazy. I remember I also asked him, I was like, man, do you think the whole team of PB Fit could take down a grizzly? And they're like, oh, dude, we got it. We got a Brody. And I'm like, grizzly bear, bro. You know? Like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude. That is a... Grizzly bears are so crazy because, I mean, bear spray doesn't even work on those fuckers anymore. I feel like they're like cockroaches. They just like adapt to it, you know?
Yeah, because they're so inclined, I think, to go and searching for food at people's camps, and there's probably less resources, so they don't give a fuck what's out there.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna get what they need to
Right?
do.
They're like, my eyes hurt. I'm still going to get this Chipotle, though. You know?
That's just like pepper spraying someone on like some crazy drugs. You're like, it might hurt a little bit, but I'm still
Yeah,
coming after you.
Exactly, right? Like when you tase someone and they're like, fuck, and just rip it
It's
out,
like,
and then now they're getting you.
I know.
Now
And
they're
then
like,
the officer's eyes light up, like, oh shit.
yeah. It's like, oh, this guy's crazy.
That
I'm
didn't
either
work.
gonna have to fucking shoot him or fight for my life, you know?
Yeah.
So that shit is insane. Oh my god. What do you think is the biggest animal you think you could take down? Single-handedly, barehanded.
Oh, damn, it's got to be something not vicious.
Really? Like, you know, okay. I've seen some pretty big coyotes, but I feel like a small coyote, I could probably take on a
Hell
small
no.
coyote.
I've seen coyotes walking in the middle of the sidewalk at nights in my neighborhood sometimes. I would definitely not just walk out to him and be like, yo, I heard this on the podcast that they think I can beat your ass up. And I'm just going to record myself fighting a coyote in the middle of my neighborhood. And then I'll send it to you and see what happens.
Dude, coyotes, like, I remember I went to...
But they're kind of skittish a little bit,
For sure.
I think, too.
I remember I went to one of my girlfriend's family members' house that was in LA, and it very, very nice. Like she was a doctor, right? So she very well off, lives in a very nice neighborhood. I remember we're driving through it early in the morning, like there's mist, and I remember seeing this dude, absolute unit of a coyote. Motherfucker's taking at least 44 cc's of fucking Tren every day. Like he is huge, and I'm like thinking that his main diet is rabbit and Maltese, you know, from the local neighbors, right? Like that guy didn't even care that we were walking past him. You know, he didn't even care, just staring at us, whatever. But small coyote, I can handle that.
I mean, because hopefully, just by nature and evolution or whatnot, that like animals kind of adapt, and they might not have like the brainial capacity we do, but hopefully they start realizing things where it's just like they know where to get their food from, and like not really to go after a human unless they really need to fend for their life, I guess, you know. But anytime I see coyotes at night, and anytime I see animals that you could barely see, you just see glowing eyes in the middle of the street.
Scary, bro.
I'm not messing with them.
I always
messing with
I
those
always
type of
freak
animals.
out that it's like, because whenever I see that, I just assume like my brain immediately jumps to like mountain lion. You know?
Like
and I'm like,
bobcat or something.
and I'm like, so dude, I've gone camping once in my life, and I want to go with the team. No, so my one time, no joke, almost fucking died. It is so cold. I have my tent broke. The fucking the door is broken to where all this cold air is coming in at all times, right? So I'm just like in this sleeping bag, like trying to clutch, like, you know, trying to survive. I had some Pringles in my tent, you know, snacking. Apparently you're not supposed to do that. I wake up, and I check my phone. My phone is at like 7%. Like we're in the shit. We're in the wilderness, right? And then I hear all this ruffling around. I'm like, oh, dude, like maybe someone else is up. So I turn on my headlamp, dude. No joke. All I see is a bobcat just like getting into like the ice chest.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, not like a mountain lion, like a bobcat. A lot of people confuse those. But I remember seeing that, and he is just like, has like a chicken wing from like, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, in Costco, you can buy like 10 wings of like pre-seasoned.
Yeah.
It was like that, right? It was one of those where he just has it in his mouth. He's like staring at me with these glowing eyes, and I'm just like, oh my God, no one else is awake. And then I just turn my light off, and I'm like, well, hopefully it doesn't come after my Pringles. Then I tanked it for the rest of the night.
That's
That was my one time going camping.
hilarious.
Bobcat didn't almost kill me. The freezing cold almost did, bro. It was freezing.
Yeah. The weather and the environment will do it more than the animals will.
For sure. Right? But, I mean, fuck, dude. Caden, what do you think? What is the biggest animal you could take? Be honest with yourself.
A big capybara.
Man, dude, I actually heard there is a Caden, you should look this up to verify me, because FTS facts, even if you verify me, I'll still be right. I'm pretty sure there's this town in Florida that they released capybaras into the wild on accident, or some dude had like an exotic pet capybara farm. They got released into the wild, and now they're now the population has become so out of control that you'll see capybaras just like stray cats in this neighborhood in Florida. Maybe I don't know if it's Florida, but dude, I'm pretty sure it's like a thing where capybaras are running rampant in a certain town, like mad invasive species.
Yeah, I feel like there's been not every state, but it feels like that's happening more and more of like things, because it only takes like one or two to get introduced, and then it's depending on what kind of animal it is, the mass population or production could be insane with certain animals, where it's like that's why it's like isn't that in Florida whatever, or somewhere where like the iguanas or something, or something like that, the lizards.
Florida's for sure like that.
Like you could like shoot them. They have hunting seasons for like lizards and iguanas.
It's probably open season all the time. You see those fuckers I know pythons are for sure like that. Like those are like a kill on sight. Like if you handle a python in the wild and you release it, you get fined. It's a big crime over there. What's up, kid? What are you looking at?
So apparently it wasn't intentional. But apparently they were released.
The guy died, right?
Not released. No, they escaped from a research facility near Gainesville in like the late 1900s, and then they ended up having a small population, and that apparently grew.
Yeah, they escaped.
Yeah, a research.
Like they just broke out of prison or something,
yeah, that's what it says. It says escaped near Gainesville.
Yeah. Hey, me and Jonesy. We're blowing this joint tonight, bro.
Well, wasn't it not that long ago that that truck or whatever, that van crashed and let those monkeys out?
I did see that. They had to kill some of those.
Like SARS and HIV. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were they either captured or killed 6, and they're but this one's still on the loose. So if you see this monkey around, don't engage with it, because it has every possible virus and disease you could probably imagine.
Dude.
That we've been testing on it. Hell no.
What's that movie, bro? That guy just. Caesar home. He just went. That is the origin of Planet of the Apes. They're like, well, we're just gonna say he has HIV, COVID-19, all this fucking yellow fever, all this shit. But realistically, we just gave him a chemical that's gonna turn him into basically a fucking human. The brain power of a human. So just don't go near him. We're just gonna say he has HIV.
Yeah, there's gonna be a real Bigfoot actually pretty soon. People are gonna actually find Bigfoot for once.
Holy fuck! Oh my god, that would be stupid. Honestly, I would love to go like an unexplored part of the Alps or something, and really go looking for some shit.
Gosh.
I love doing stuff
hopefully
that,
you come back.
That is completely valid, because as long I feel like you have to have at least a party of 10 or else you're cooked.
Yeah, you gotta have people for
It'd be like we have so many GoPros, it'd be like the Blair Witch Project,
This was we're gonna go find Bigfoot, yet they've never found Bigfoot in thousands of years. Well, we're gonna go search for him. He's out there, bro. He's out there.
It makes me wonder, what is out there that we just don't know?
A lot.
On that topic, what I'd be scared of finding?
What?
Actually genuinely finding skinwalkers. I hate that idea with a passion.
Nah, dude, I actually, bro, there was a time where I actually thought I had an experience with a skinwalker, dude. I mean, really? I'm only putting that on there, but it was a very paranormal experience, right? I remember me and my friend were going out to this place. We're going on a hike, and there's this huge open field of really, really tall grass. And I feel like I've probably told this story on the podcast before, but so we're chilling out there. We went on a hike. We get back. It's late, very, very late, to where it's dark. Me and my friend are in the car. We're like, oh man, it's fucking dark. The only thing we can see is our headlights. And we were making this joke as if oh man, don't turn off the headlights. Don't turn off the headlights. We turn off the headlights. Dude, it is the darkness, the darkest dark I've ever seen. We turn them back on. There is this black shadow in front of the grass. In front of this tall grass. Then I'm like, he's like, oh shit. Turns it back off. Turns him back on again. It's gone.
Oh God.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, what is this huge shadowy figure in front of the grass, right? And I'm a very spiritual person. I'm a very, very spiritual person. Like, so my curiosity definitely gets the better of me in that situation. You know, I mean,
Oh yeah.
not at that age, because at that age I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. Now that I'm older,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, bro, I think going out there for 5 minutes wouldn't be that bad of an idea. You know, imagine the kind of content we could get. You know,
It's always the worst idea.
that's usually how people die. Like the first guy dies in the movie theater. Hey, let's go check that out. You know?
Yeah, let's go there, bro.
Yeah.
And there's really someone just been hiding in the woods for 40 years, just like killing
Yes.
people, and what's not a shadow.
It's like, let's split up. You go this way, I'll go that way. Oh God,
Oh,
dude.
hell no.
You know you're
Don't
dead.
let Hatch lead.
You know you're dead. Hey, let me just say,
Not
if it comes to
fun.
a situation like that, I could genuinely lead. Because the thing is, the ghosts look at me and they're like, oh, this guy means no harm. He's just curious. Let's just give him a couple, a couple shadows here, maybe an orb over here, I feel like the same thing with like that one show, like what, Ghost Adventures? They don't really get anything but like some slam doors and some orbs,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, I mean, one thing I just want to say, okay, more of a question. All right, Brett, you ever heard a ghost story? You ever encountered the paranormal?
I mean, not like I wouldn't say anything like crazy specific that like really like freaked me out. Like I've like seen, kind of like the shadows or like maybe like certain moments when like no one's home, and your mind kind of thinks that you like,
Mm,
feel a presence or something. But like I don't think I've seen anything that's like really freaked the shit out of me.
really? Okay. That's
a good thing though.
that is a good thing, dude. Spirits love me, bro. Spirits love fucking with me. But
Because you're looking for them.
I am
For
looking for them.
curiosity.
I am looking for them, and they're like, well, dude, if we got to put on a show, let's do it. So,
Curiosity killed the cat.
bro, I got 9 lives, so I'm okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess we're sitting on just over 2 hours, bro. Holy shit, dude. It does not feel like we've been talking for 2 hours. So I'm gonna start to not wrap it up, but start going towards that direction. Caden, do you have any final questions for our amazing guest?
Here we'll end near more a paintball topic.
Let's hear it.
So Brett, you've been to WCs and the CPL and NXLs. What have you kind of seen is like one of the biggest differences in skill level when it comes to like NorCal, SoCal, and like even like the East Coast?
Um, Obviously, I only do a lot of regional events in California, but I would say as a collective on that aspect that like there's a lot of competition down here. Um,
Yep.
when I go to like Florida and like other places in NXL, I try to learn about like maybe the areas of like what's kind of popping and what's not. And back to the kind of guy I was talking about earlier, that was telling me he used to play paintball a lot. He said he's like I would still play a little bit more even at older age, but he's like I live in Illinois now and there's not like a lot of like competitive paintball scenes and stuff.
A lot of it's
So
indoor.
I'd
It's
say
snow.
just by yeah, so a lot of just like my general knowledge from just like learning about paintball that I definitely think that like West Coast has more opportunities to be like more competitive on like more of a grand scale because like you said it's usually always sunny, there's always fields outside. It's not like when it's snowing and then when you get the snow some people aren't willing to like kind of go like with altitude sickness. Like I mean their group chats and like there's even though it's off season they still try to practice go to the field and like it's like I don't know if it's snowing or getting really cold, but like the weather's getting so bad there that like they're not even like really gonna go to practice and like, well, if no one's gonna show up because it's fucking snowing, then like we're not gonna like have practice. So I'd
Hmm.
say is like as far as like that type of scenario, I think like West Coast has a lot of competition and I don't know, and I feel like we just from seeing Dub C to like I would only say that what the CPO was only like one day of was like a weekend event and like since like it's only my first time like being up there, but I'd still say it's still obviously part of West Coast and California, so I wouldn't say there was like much like difference, but I'd say at least from where I started playing paintball I could see like the competition naturally like it should just getting like way better and harder at least in this level. I just feel like deep in, like I said, we always see there's always going to be a skill gap between divisions, but I feel like at least down here, like D4, WCPPL, D5 is still competitive within its own like right, in its own nature. Where I haven't filmed it too much of like regional paintballs for like East Coast and stuff, so it'd be hard to say as far as like the demographic and the community of like what they're building. But I feel like if just looking at like paintball fit and like some other things that are kind of more Midwest, West Coast, I think that it's just a little bit more of a seems a little bit better of a competition and more opportunities at least down here for sure.
Definitely.
I mean,
Do you think that? So go ahead.
no, you go ahead, Cade.
Do you think the NXL should try to push more to come to the West Coast?
I've been, I mean, it would be nice. I think that personally, that like I don't know if why they don't have it here. I feel like two things. I feel like there's no fields that can actually really host it without like even SC Village, right? SC Village is big, but imagine having
There's no parking.
NXL
Not enough
SC
parking.
Village, it wouldn't work. Like it wouldn't work, right?
WC was
There's
packed.
there's no other fields that like so I think it's like land and I think everything's just so expensive down here for everyone to travel. Like, I mean, it's like this anywhere. If you wait the last minute to book your ticket to Florida from California, it's going to be a lot of money. But I generally
Right.
feel like it's probably cheaper for me to fly from California to Florida than it is from Florida to California round trip. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like it's just everything out here is so expensive. So it'd be nice because even though we get the heat like Texas, we do have the weather. So like realistically, like we could run an event
Be a great turnout.
any of the month and
Absolutely.
any of the months. It doesn't matter if it's in the first one in March or in November. Like we might get a little bit of rain in November and stuff, but other than that, I think we need West Coast. And I feel like kind of going back to the competition, I feel like a lot of the West Coast paintball players, it would be nice to have, even if people are going to play one event, it would be nice to kind of have like a an area for like all five events that's like kind of in a location where like the kind of the regional states aren't like going crazy for traveling. It's like some events, it's like in Ohio, right? Like someone might live in like Cincinnati and there's like it's all the time, like Atlantic City, New Jersey, right? A lot of people in Atlantic City, New Jersey, like no one even wants to go fucking play there. Like it was a pretty miserable event and pretty bad experience on my end, but it's like I don't know, things are just like harder. I don't know. I think it's just things are just harder to get to, and over here, and just, everything's just more expensive, and where East Coast is a little bit more cheaper, a little more affordable. But it would be nice to get some over here because I think the people who are going to play the one event that might, just go to Ohio or might live there, like would do it for California. Like people who in Arizona and Vegas and stuff. Like maybe it's a lot for them to go all the way from Florida, but it's easy to get a 4 hour car, a ride, to come from Vegas to California, even Arizona. All the pole position guys come all the way to Dub C, all the time from Arizona. It's not that much. So it'd be nice if like they were kind of located so that way at least like the section of kind of the states can at least maybe try to get to one event and give everyone experience because Florida's cool but like when you have it in Tampa and Orlando in the same year you do limit like the exposure because it's to fly from West Coast obviously to East Coast isn't the cheapest thing ever, and all that stuff. So I think it would be nice to have an event. Like just at the end of the day, I think what they had one here like the LA Open or something like that a long time ago
Riverside,
in
yeah.
2000, Riverside, right? But I don't think there's any field here that I would see without expanding that would be able to host an NXL.
No actual paintball field. They would have to like set it up on like an open grass field, like soccer field kind of thing. Like
Because it's like SC has 5 speedball fields, but like at NXL it's like minimum like 8, like 7 or 8.
yeah, and
Right.
plus the parking that
And
comes
like
with that.
the parking lot's bigger than the actual event is.
Yeah.
So it's like it would just that's the only thing that kind of sucks. I think it's just logistics and then just money and how much everything costs. I think it would just be a very costly event to have it here, but it sucks because Vegas, even though Vegas was an interesting event, we kind of all got exiled there as a paintball community, whatever. It was actually a sick event because I could drive with my brother in his truck for 4 hours and have a car and everything the whole weekend, and not have to worry about Ubers or rides or things. So it'd be nice to have an event over here, even if it's not in California. Like it was kind of cool in Vegas. Like I don't think it's the best location, to be honest, for paintball. It kind of brings a lot of different energy and vibes from the outside as well that maybe we don't want, but yeah, some sort of West Coast event that's not 100-degree Texas or something would be kind of nice.
I think Vegas would be
But then
sick, just
again,
not in the public park, not in like a
well,
public park where people are walking their
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
kids,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I
yeah,
think that's where they messed up.
and the sad part is, at the end of the day, I don't think it was like as much of like paintball players and much too of like where the issue is one like paintball is very messy. It's like there's going to be some remnants, but I think it's like people who like don't play paintball. Excuse me. Don't play paintball or like friends or something, and just like regular people that are like defacing property and doing
Yeah.
stuff, and we're not.
Yeah.
I remember seeing kids like, and the thing is, when you add shiny pink balls to anything, these little kids are gonna be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
bouncy ball. Let me fucking bounce it off this sign and just
Yeah, every little event there's a bunch of kids in the dirt in the mud just picking up old paintballs, whether it's squishy or not.
exactly.
And like I said, I would leave the field and I would see, every once in a while some like paint splattered on like, the public restroom at the park. And it's like, maybe I could be wrong and maybe I'm being biased, but I damn well know it wasn't one of us competitive speedball players just decided to go throw paintballs at the public restroom. It was probably some
Yes.
little kid, either A, might have still been a part of the family, but B, I saw a lot of random people around at the park too, because it's going to bring the local community. So it's like they could easily, the little hoodlums and certain things as well, around the area could be defacing the stuff too. But because we have the event and it's a paintball thing, that of course we're going to get their rap.
Yeah, 99% chance.
Regardless of
no
what
paintball player
happens,
did
like,
it.
yeah, I mean, so it could be wrong. I don't want to, leave it up, but
That's what I'm saying.
I think,
99%.
most of us respectfully like wouldn't just go by and just like start throwing stuff at slides or playgrounds or public things. Just why?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the point in my career where like when I'm at the NXL and there's like a ton of trash in an area, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna clean that shit up. Like, the NXL is a
Yeah.
thing that's like my home in a way. This is
Yeah,
like
it
a thing
gets
that
it
I
gets
represent,
bad.
and it does get bad. I remember seeing, I don't remember what layout it was. I feel like I talked about this really recently, but the NXL layout where there was
Atlantic City was bad.
the one where was that Atlantic City, the outside
Yeah.
snake that went all the way down.
Atlantic City.
Like
know
I
exactly which one
remember
you're talking
seeing
about.
divisional players, like we got knocked out, and so I'm going over to help our divisional teams in the divisional pits. People would literally be climbing over Doritos bags, hot Cheetos bags, and Gatorade bottles.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
that
snake.
I
There
would
was,
have to say
alcohol bottles too.
Yeah,
I would have to say as an event, like that event was probably in the 2 years I've done was probably like one of the worst events I've been to. As
For
far
sure.
as location, the weather, and even I've heard a lot of comments about that too, that like there was a lot more trash and shit everywhere, and and like not a bunch of people picking it up
yeah.
and stuff like that. So
And plus, it was one of those things where people were not they were not letting alcohol in, right? And that's obviously a huge part of paintball culture, believe it or not. But and I mean, I feel like that kind of led to player rage, where they didn't really, people were like, well, they don't give a fuck about us. They're not letting us have alcohol over here. So they were just like cared a lot less about the venue. It felt like,
Yeah, and it felt like the overall venue, as far as like the employees, were just like not like usually at NXL, not expecting to be dumping the trash can every 5 minutes, but usually most NXLs I see them checking the big trash cans, do what they need to do. That event
Very
just
often.
seemed like the whole like overall workforce was just lacking as far as like taking care of the players in the event, like. Because as a player, it's like going to any type of service or getting a service. It's like just because someone has like a specific job to do something doesn't mean that like you shouldn't be respectful and do it, because it's like they didn't
yeah.
make the mess. If like there's random trash and things get left here and there, it's gonna happen. It's a whole event. But like just be kind of a decent human being and at least just like minimize the mess and whatever, and just be respectful. Just like, and that's what makes it worse when it becomes like one of those things just like, well, this person, the team before us, didn't pick up the box of paint, so like we're just gonna be assholes and not do it, and then that just starts compiling over time, and then it just is a pretty bad thing. But that event as far as trash and just like overall was just
Not
bad.
good.
And I think, and the thing is, it's like I think
everything
like
there was expensive.
I
Very
think going
expensive.
yeah I think going to that event, everyone was already like frustrated going there, because the year before I didn't go because the All Stars and Altitude Sickness didn't go. So I was like, all right, like I know this event's expensive. And then, and not this past year, but the year before, they had it in like June or something, which was like the vacation time, I guess, down there, or like whatever happens. It was like summer, so like everything was triple the amount
Oh, the
because people were
boardwalk.
going to Atlantic City to do, like boardwalk and stuff like that. So I didn't go. So this year I was just like, well, they're gonna have it. Mikey and them are going, like I'm gonna go experience it, and I'm kind of glad I went, and they're not having it again, because if they had it again this year, I don't care how much money you'd pay me, like I wouldn't go to that event again. It was just
Wow.
because like a lot of the airlines and stuff too didn't even directly fly into there, so a lot of us like flew into Philly, like most
Then
people
you
and
got to drive
drove.
an
And
hour and a half.
dude, it was an hour and a half. Yeah, and like
Really
luckily
long
I had some
drive.
people pick me up and like it worked out. But
An
like that would
hour
have
and a
been like
half
a
Uber,
$200 Uber,
bro.
bro. Like
And now at that point, I'm kind of feeling bad for the fucking Uber driver. You know, I'm like, God
yeah.
damn. You know?
Yeah, it was. I mean, they're doing pretty decent, but yeah, it was just the whole logistics and everything just seemed it was just like I feel like people going there were already just frustrated going there.
Yeah.
So it started off before even people played any paintball, just
And the
this
thing
vibe of
is,
like screw this place.
not this past year where we had it, because this past year the grass was low key fucking ass. The year before that, the grass was really freaking good, like really good. You know?
Yeah, well they the location of this one was bad. Like they're like I have a picture of like one of the holes. It must have been a water grate or something. They basically just like took like a square piece of turf and then just used bunker stakes and just like staked the shit out of it in the middle of like a running lane to cover, like a water grate or a drainage ditch or something. And I
Yeah.
was like, dude, like this looks crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And then I heard people like I said, some of the posts you have to kind of really read through them and make sure that people aren't just like making stupid shit. But I saw that one where like someone like found like a full size brick or something in the
That was
middle of
on
the
the pro
field, and
field.
like some,
Mhm.
yeah, and like I didn't think that was like I was bullshit. I mean, it seemed like it was kind of a true thing.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Dude,
unless someone was, like,
day one practice, dude. I dive into the Doritos, dude. There was a broken beer bottle in there. Very first
oh
point,
yeah,
dude. Sliced my glove all the way across, like to where it's like if I didn't have gloves on, and
yeah,
I
you would have
usually
been
don't play in
fucked.
gloves, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dude, that shit is shredding my hand, you know. And I think that's one of those locations that's like, bro, get us the fuck out of there, you know.
Mhm.
But
Well, I mean, and I get like NXL is like there's only so much locations that's gonna like allow them to be able to take as much space knowing like what it does. But like there is like a level that you talk about like growing paintball, like it's already a hard enough sport to watch. So it's like when the people who are like spending money and playing like are miserable because you have drainage ditches and shit covered by stakes and broken bottles, it's like once the fields are like up, unless it's the refs, like drinking or the workers, whatever, like once the fields are built up, they should have like some sort of like official or some sort of like staff member that's like high up, like walk all the fields, and like make sure that they're safe to play on. Like it just that's like the one thing about paintball. Like it's kind of that roughneck sport where like we do what we can to organize, but there's like a lot of little things that like would improve or just save it, or just like it should, and nobody should be sliding at practice into a broken bottle on the field. Like
yeah, it was
that's just
ridiculous.
not good at all.
At that
Like
point, I was like, I'm staying for this field, for this practice field, bro. I am staying on my feet, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And the thing is, there's that field. I mean, unless you pay a lot of money, I think you don't. We're not allowed to practice the lone wolf field when we're practicing on, the premier
mm,
field.
yeah.
So we were playing on like the farthest divisional one.
Yeah,
The
you're gonna
fact
play like where the D65
and
people
the
are
fact
playing
is that
on.
a division has to play an entire weekend on that, bro. What? That was
Yeah, and by day
ridiculous to
one
me.
or two, the ground is even way more beat and
Yeah,
just
practice
worse
day I
than
was
it
cutting
even
my glove,
started.
so it's like what the fuck,
Yeah.
Sunday
Like
that
I
shit is getting
get,
finessed.
some hard ground, not luscious green grass, like that's understandable. You gotta like get what you can take, but like having, bricks and broken glass and drainage ditches in the middle of the field that you're covering, like that's just something that's like not, that's just like you're going to like a major league baseball game and they're like, you know what, this sprinkler behind the pitcher's mound isn't working or something, and some person might trip on it, but we're just gonna leave it up for the game and hopefully no one eats shit and cuts themselves open, like
Yeah, what's
that's
that?
just not heard of.
You
Like,
would know this. What's that one setting where you can kind of make things look more like vivid? Uh, Not satire. Saturation.
oh, like saturation? Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that is one.
saturation,
Let me
yeah.
tell you, and I'm gonna say it. That is the biggest propaganda that the NXL shows is on the webcast, where they up the exposure times 1,000 to where the grass looks perfectly green. Bro,
Yeah.
I've looked at the field in person. Sometimes it looks so bad, but the exposure on the
Yeah.
camera, like if you're not at the event looking at it, it probably looks great. But in reality, it is
Yeah.
not good at all. You
Yeah,
know,
besides some of the events where like it rains and it gets muddy and it's just like hard to like not make
for
it
sure.
look like good because a lot of those pro fields like some of them are better than the others, but even like some of the pro fields at like Atlantic City and other ones were like not level at all and pretty shitty. Like it's like at least if you're gonna like make any type of field really good, at least have the pros be able to play like on a
Yeah.
pretty good field. Like there's no reason that you guys have a top level. These are your athletes in your sport is the highest level, and they're playing on rocks and bricks
Yes.
and like
Getting hurt. You know,
yeah, it just
it just doesn't make
I don't
sense to
know.
me. But anyway,
Well, and then I know, like, if you get hurt and stuff like that, I haven't really looked into like all the NXL's policies, and insurance and stuff, but if you do get hurt, a lot of the times it's like you're paying the money out of your own pocket and then like supposedly getting reimbursed and like, proving stuff like that. So it's like if that's the case, you might as well just help yourself and make less liability and try to do what you need to do so you don't have to worry about, people getting hurt and having to use that much money and insurance coverages and I mean, it's gonna happen, but like they need to do a better job of making it just safer at the end of the day. It
yeah,
doesn't take that hard for one official to like walk the field for 5 minutes for 8 fields and just make sure there's no glass on the field. Like,
exactly. Or you could literally just go up and ask a player and be like, "Hey, how's your field playing? How are the conditions?"
yeah, you seen a Corona bottle on the field lately? Like,
Exactly right. It's not that hard to ask, right, bro? We had no joke. We had we had a posse escorting us to fucking paintball jail because they thought we were on the field without a media pass. But it's like,
oh
but
shit,
they can't do that. And we weren't, bro.
no,
We weren't even We were in the
That makes
background
sense.
of a photo. We were in the background of a photo, so they thought we were involved, and our backs were turned. But whatever. Um, but okay, okay. Rounding it all back, I got one final question for you, brother. If every single human was into a conduit to where you could say anything and every human could hear it on Earth, what would you tell every human on Earth? I want you to really think about this.
to be honest, it seems pretty. I wouldn't say cliche is the right word. It's like something that I have to like certain things I have to try to remind myself every day, especially going the journey and seeing the day by day, whatever, compared to like the long term. It's hard to envision where you're gonna be, and sometimes you do things in the day and you think it's gonna turn to something different, and ends up leading to a different opportunity. So, I would say the biggest thing, if I had to tell a room, would just be, just keep trying and just keep going. I mean, it seems like, so simple and it could be one of those cliche things, but it's like one of those things that I feel like at the human core, and I would say I'm someone who like doesn't get like, like insanely like depressed or anything where like it takes me crazy, but they're like out of it, but it's like we all are human and we all have those moments where like it's hard to get out of certain, ruts and stuff, but like the moment that you just keep like trying, it's like the podcast, right? It's just like when things happen, it's like you can either give up or you just keep trying to improve or trying to figure it out or
Mm-hmm.
trying, to kind of deviate in how you thought it was going to go or things happen. So at the end of the day, you just keep trying, and the biggest thing I tell a lot of people too, like I said earlier, some photographers and video people ask me, I said, just show up. Like if you literally just show up to the field and just like try and don't go too crazy like I do about missing a point here and there, but like you're still trying and showing effort that like you're trying to whether you're playing a point or whatever, that like you could lose a point, miss a point, whatever, sit out a point, but as long as you just show up and try and just try to do it for the better part of society and the world, especially for like paintball. Like, I know it's more than just the one word answer you told me to say, but besides paint, even in paintball, I've learned that like everyone has a skill level. Sometimes you're on a team, you might not be maybe the best player, and you might not get the most playing time. At the end of the day, just keep trying to get your chance. And like, if you just even sit out a point or two, like you don't always have to be like on the field to make an impact. So as long as you're showing up and trying in any way you can to make the people around you, your community, your craft better, or whatever, it's all going to come back, at the end of the day, and just it's going to work out. So I'd say basically just show up and keep trying, and
Hell yeah.
basically.
That's awesome because I think that's a great advice, especially when you were kind of talking about with you and your opportunity with Marky at HK, right? You were like,
Yeah,
if I didn't do that and I didn't just show up there, maybe I wouldn't have got these opportunities. Maybe I wouldn't be,
yeah,
doing some stuff with
and
him.
at that point, it's that stuff. And if you can, I'd say the biggest thing like on the note as far as like content creation and stuff in paintball, you have to like understand that there's ways to, make your money in events and things. But as far as like the YouTube wise content creation, like making money and stuff, it's like it's 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 not gonna really be there like you think it is. So if you just like take it and just as a passion and grind with it and focus on making like your bread at the events filming teams and not as much behind the scenes, you'll have a better chance of keeping doing what you're doing. Because when I was started YouTube, I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew my requirements. I like would post reels all the time, whatever. We're not getting paid. The moment I got monetized, and you start seeing the actual dollar amount to like the effort and the work that you put in, you kind of take a little bit step back inside because you're like, I worked my ass off for this and like I got here. But then so like there was some moments because of that notion when I got monetized, I kind of like had these little spurts of like being kind of down and like
Mm-hmm.
and but then like the moment I kind of start breaking out of that and realize it's like you started or I started doing YouTube not even for the money in the beginning. The money's gonna be side if I make some money. I already knew I wasn't even making $1 million. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
there was just this like disconnect that when I saw the figure, it like kind of changed a little bit of like my perspective and then I've been breaking out of that and like really getting back to the passion. That's what I said about when it comes like the B-roll and all the other stuff. Like I'll take less teams, maybe charge a little bit more, even make a little bit less money at the event, but I'm gonna get what I want out of this and not just be a robot at the field,
Oh yeah.
have no emotions
Yeah.
doing anything. So so as far as YouTube, I was in like content creation. You're gonna get your 1 like, your 10 likes when you start, and then at some point you probably be collaborating, and working with people who have opportunities. So
Mm-hmm.
just don't focus so much on the monetization side. Focus on like getting your teams hired and making the bread there. But as far as content creation, do it because you love it, and because you want. And that's a perfect example. Dylan, he's doing a lot of stuff for DeFi right now. He's like their main guy.
Oh, foul. Dylan Foul.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that
So
guy.
obviously, he's hired on DeFi now as, employment with them right, now, but like he is definitely one person I admire because he's grinded, traveled to do music videos, just showed up, and you can see it in his work that
Oh yeah.
even though he's like working with a brand, he has like a level that like makes you feel like you're not watching like brand content. Like it's just, paintball players doing their thing, but in a way that's like organized and, and stuff like that. So I think we just got to keep pushing, just keep putting those type of videos out
Yeah.
and focus on the love of paintball and the passion for videography. And eventually, like the money and your income side, it will, start feeling it out. When I went to NXL, my first event, I had one team. It was like, $300. And now I'm doing 8 teams, or whatever. So, and, but I didn't focus on it. I just focused getting to the NXL, getting to the event, filming, getting exposure. And then the rest of that, the back end just, it just comes with it. So, just like playing paintball, like I said, we spend so much money. So the moment you lose the drive and passion to show up every Saturday and Sunday at 9 in the morning, be organized, and not just mess around with your friends, drink beer in the parking lot all day,
Mm-hmm.
then, you're good. But the moment you lose that kind of drive, then it's not worth it anymore. So you always got to have that passion and drive and make sure you're doing something for the purpose and the cause too.
Fuck
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
That is a fucking great. That
Dude,
is some great wisdom right there, brother. We really appreciate it. And
Yeah, thank you.
awesome.
before we do our little outro, Caden, it's time. It's that time, brother. I
Hmm.
need a cool guy of the week. Who you got?
So first, actually, I'm gonna go with code word of the week. I'm gonna go
All
with
right,
that
let's hear
first.
it.
So you guys
All
know
right,
it.
all right. I like it.
Code word of the week is opportunity.
Opportunity. All right. So
Talked about that a
Love that.
lot this episode.
if you made it this far in the podcast and you're hearing it, make sure you either comment it, DM us, send it over. Where can everybody find you at, Brett? Where can everybody find you at to keep up with you?
The most place that I post is Instagram. It's goofy by nature with an underscore at the end. Fortunately, I had
Gotcha.
to have that. But
Hell yeah.
and then YouTube. I haven't posted in a little bit, but I'm reforming everything, getting all the content. So I'm gonna start posting probably like every Tuesday, Thursday, and get back on that weekly schedule for the rest of the time and push it and not give up. So basically, Instagram and YouTube are the two main places. I have a Facebook, but basically my Facebook is just connect to my Instagram, so it's the same stuff, and I don't really connect. So basically Instagram and YouTube, goofy by nature, you'll find it.
Hell yeah. It's great. Hell yeah.
Nice.
We
Everyone
appreciate
keep an
that.
eye out
So
for that.
opportunity. If you made it this far,
Opportunity.
message Goofy by Nature on Instagram. Opportunity. All right. Hell yeah. Caden, who's the
Right.
cool guy?
Cool guy of the week, stemming also a little bit from the code word, and this is also tied into what I'm doing right now in life, is shout out to all the teachers right now. It's
Okay. Hell
finals
yeah.
week. They're teaching all these kids, wrapping things up. Hopefully, they're teaching these kids and are passing their classes. Praying that I'm passing my class, and hopefully they'll get opportunity to go start a good life. make bread, get a good career.
Hell yeah.
Doctors, engineers, whatever it may be. So shout out to all the teachers doing finals right now, grading tests.
Hell yeah. So if you're a teacher and you educate people, you're a cool guy of the week here on FTS. And we appreciate you guys teaching the youth, you know? I mean, shit, there's adult school. There's adult school.
Yeah.
Shit, I learn every day.
Everyone still learns yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, shit, boys. Well,
Teacher mentor.
This was fucking awesome. Brett, it was awesome having you on. Seriously.
Thank you.
It was great.
I had a good time.
Pleasure.
And
this was the first time being on the other end of the podcast, so it was definitely a different experience for me.
You had your own podcast.
I do. I did some stuff a little bit on my YouTube, but it was most obviously I was the one that was a little bit more of the host and the receiver, so it's definitely a different structure. So I felt like that was a little bit more on edge, or being the host compared to. So it was nice to kind of just chill out and just kind of flow and just tell my story. So
100%. Well, dude, it was absolutely great having you on. You were a person that I was like, you know, usually, if I'm being honest, usually when we get with guests for the first time, where you and I haven't really talked very much in person. We've said what's up.
Yeah,
we mostly exchanged through DMs on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So usually when it comes to like this kind of interaction, a lot of the times people are kind of awkward. I'm kind of awkward sometimes.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
But dude, it was like we fucking known each other. It was awesome. So dude, thank you for coming.
That's why I said that's why I love the paintball community, because like you can meet someone who wants to know them for a long time, but as long as the person just has the will to kind of be chill and just wants to be friends or likable, then it's pretty easy to keep talking to the same people over and over. Whether you've had one, you kind of just like it's just life. You just feel the emotions and you feel the vibe off people, and you can kind of tell even like small little conversations that like kind of who somebody's kind of their character's a little bit like, or at least their vibe. So then it makes it easier just to make these connections and kind of free flow talking, because it feels like conversation we could have had maybe at a field one time or something, but now it's here, but it's still like we're just talking at the field right now. So
exactly,
it's pretty good.
That's why I try to get to this vibe on this podcast. We're boys with a Z at the end. We're just the boys. Hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah.
But
no, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody listening. We appreciate our guest, Goofy by nature, Brett. Kylie,
you got it.
Boom. There we go. I'm getting a little bit better. So if you guys haven't heard of him, make sure you guys go follow him on Instagram. One thing I have to do before we leave: shout out to Welts. We appreciate you guys, Scott Stewart and Corey over there. Make sure you guys earn your Welts and use code FTS. 10% off. Get you guys self something nice. Christmas is coming. Your girlfriend probably wants something nice. Get her something from there. I know they have dope pink straps. They have every kind of strap. I use a camo one. Caden, he uses a red one. But then we got Hormesis Paintball. Thank you to Hormesis, Alex and Oliver over there. We appreciate you guys. All the headbands you sent us, all the dope stuff. We appreciate it. More giveaways ahead, especially in this upcoming 2026 season. So last but not least, Capital Edge Paintball Park. Shout out to the Baines family. Really appreciate you guys bringing us on as a sponsor. We go there every single weekend. If you're in Northern California, you want a ball, we'll be there. But the next time you guys are hearing us, we will be dressed up in Dungeons and Dragon gear. Because the next episode of From the Sidelines, we are doing Dungeons and Dragons. It is going to be me, Caden, Brando, ARG Image, and our Dungeon Master Tyler. So the next time you see me as in Hatch and Caden as in him on the bottom, we're gonna have some other personas. We're gonna have we're gonna be acting it out, doing some method acting, really getting into it. So if you made it this far, this is your boy Hatch and Caden and Goofy by Nature on From the Sidelines. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye. Fuck yeah, boys.